Job well done. Job well done. Proving it, validating it, putting a stamp on it. That's how you win. Absolutely. You get a standing ovation for that. You absolutely get a standing ovation. By the way, I get these asshole people constantly telling me, Sileo always, I apologize for no takes. You know why? I stand by what I say. And when I'm proven wrong by a player's actions, again, you know what it's not called, according to some of you? It's not waffling. It's a player proving you wrong. Like Carson Wentz, playing great, proving us wrong, all of us. Jalen Hurts is now in that conversation. That was one of the most iconic defensive football performances I have seen in Super Bowl play since the Bears took apart the Patriots. By the way, all supers go to the top. Please hit the like button. Only way I will be disrupted in the open is if there are supers. We will end up putting those front and center as we always do. Please hit the like button. That was one of the greatest defensive performances I have ever seen. I mean, you said it was theory, not fact. That we're out-coached. Put some respect on my coach. Let me get there. The only other game I can see that's close to this is the Bears, like I said, taking apart the Patriots 46-10. In that game, the Bears had 408 and held the Patriots 123 yards in total offense and 7 yards rushing. However, we're talking Drew Bledsoe versus Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. I know Parcells was the coach of that team, but this is a different animal here. I mean, they absolutely put the whooping board to them, and it was really not close. I mean, this was a coin toss thing. The Rams game was closer. It was just a great performance. You know, we said this too. You had to win the line of scrimmage. Kansas City just couldn't win the line of scrimmage. Hurts, without a doubt, had a hell of a football game. The story in that game is Vic and his guys. You want to hear something in that football game? They used no blitzes, and they got home 6 times. Do you understand how insane that is? You beat the Chiefs with 4 dudes on defense in your front 4. 0 blitzes. You did not bring 1 blitz in that game. And you got to Mahomes. That was absolutely a tremendous performance, to say the least. We'll do our takeaways here in a second. We'll also go by the numbers, game balls. I have Super Bowl awards to give out. Please hit the like button. I mean, it was just an onslaught. Don't ever tell me Patrick Mahomes is in the conversation ever again with being considered the GOAT with Brady or Montana. Those guys never were embarrassed like that. They were never embarrassed in a ball game like that. Kansas City Chiefs did not show up. I don't want to hear people tell me, well, they didn't play well. You know, it's their worst game in 5 years. Fuck that, man. Show up. It's a Super Bowl. You're playing for greatness. I mean, they were never in the ball game. Sills, what's scary for the league is the Eagles' defense is only going to get better here. Yeah, I think they're going to be better next year. We won the Super Bowl in our defensive rebuild year, which is absolutely insane. You did lose and will lose a coordinator. And that will always be a iffy proposition because that's been hit or miss for Howie. Do I think that'll be a factor? it depends if you stay to your formula if you're going to run the ball next year. Or you're going to try to get the passing game going again. Why would you try to get the passing game going? Maybe you would try to improve the passing game, but fuck, man. You won that football game because of what you are. You're dominant on both sides of the football. Woke media gave DEI Hurts the MVP. Well, I think Josh Sweat should have been in that conversation, but he probably needed a few more sacks. You're never going to give that award to the people who actually deserve that thing. Not that Jalen was a reach for that. He wasn't. He played exceptionally well in that football game. That's not. But Josh Sweat and that front four were just absolutely torturing the Kansas City Chiefs all night long. Josh Sweat was the best player on the field. He was fucking torturing the Chiefs. They could not answer him. Man, did he make a ton of money tonight. He made a ton of money last night. Holy cow. The coordinating by Vic Fangio, that's one of the greatest displays I've ever seen. I mean, it just was insane. So let me get to some of the takeaways here. By the way, supers go to the top. Please hit the like button. We appreciate all of you. Just a tremendous performance. Here's our takeaways. Destroyed the Chiefs. 0 blitzes. It's unprecedented. It's unprecedented. And then prior to the game, you deactivated a $50 million free agent and said, no, only the best players are going to play in this game. The people that gave us the great practice, the people that were here with us, the people that deserve it are going to play in this game. They had one blitz. Okay, one blitz. That's fucking insanity. To get that many sacks. Okay? Unbelievable. Shit. People are going like this. Sills, they proved you wrong. Really? No shit. Thanks, doctor. What did you see last night? I know what I saw. There were a lot of things that were stamped last night and what those guys did. Tremendous job, man. Price Up was told to sit the fuck down. We don't need you. Thank you. Unbelievable. I've been a Hurts fan for a long time, Sills, and I've had to bite my tongue these past few years while listening to your show. Say it, big guy. Elite. We'll get to all this in a minute, my friend. Okay? That defensive performance reminded me of the Cowboys in 91 when Aikman completed 11 passes and was sacked 11 times. What going through Hassan? Head could have got paid. Unbelievable, Ramir. No question. Could have been part of something great. Instead, fucked around in the offseason, got himself in a situation where he lost a ton of money, and he lost a year of his career. Ridiculous. How about the coaching job? Outcoached. Andy Reid and Spagnuolo outcoached by Vic Fangio, Kellen Moore, and Nick Sirianni. Completely outcoached. Kansas City, they looked worse than Dallas. I mean, they just absolutely dominated the line of scrimmage. Dominated the line of scrimmage. Now, again, folks, this is what I saw last night. Okay? This is what I saw. Completely manhandled them. Dude, I didn't hear Quinyon Mitchell's name one time. Because you know why? Outside of Xavier Worthy, I didn't fucking hear anybody else. Travis Kelce is toast. He was brutal in that game. Drop passes, horrible routes, had a lot to do with the way that the linebackers played. What the fuck, man? There's no drop-off with Oren Burks going in the game? There was not one bit of drop-off from the Kobe Dean to Oren Burks. Not one bit of drop-off. That's incredible coaching and preparation by the player, by the talent evaluator, Howie Roseman, and by the coach, Bobby King and Vic. Unbelievable. You had not one moment of drop-off in that game with Oren Burks in there. Nothing. He played as good as Nakobe did this year. That fucking guy was playing great. That's a testament to the guys up front. Seals, you've been pissed me off all season. I feel like you may have pissed off the Birds as well. They are now Super Bowl champs. I love them for it. And you for the motivation. Go Birds. Hey, dude, I got to tell you, I didn't believe it. Doesn't matter. Reality. Nothing is theory anymore. Nothing is theory. Xander, if I missed the super, please. I think Tony's saying that I missed his super chat. If I did, Tony, I apologize. Nothing's theory. Dotson sighting. Holy shit. Had more yards than KC in the first half. Unbelievable numbers. I got it written down here. There's actually a Jahan Dotson sighting. Fucking unbelievable. Everything he did in that game last night, I take back. He's worth the trade. Because he got the offense going. Dotson. Unbelievable. How about this? After the first quarter, I wrote this note down. The fucking Eagles had 115 yards in total offense. Kansas City had 19. Kansas City had 19. I mean, how about what I watched and what I saw and what the difference between Mahomes and Hurts was last night? You want to hear the significant difference in the game? Jalen was ahead of his checks. Mahomes was behind. He was confused the entire night. Hurts wasn't. He knew what he was looking at. His checkdowns and his checkouts were spot on 95% of the game. He was better prepared for that Super Bowl last night than Patrick fucking Mahomes was. Watch the game again. Hurts was on target the entire night on where to go with the ball. His pre-snap reads were the best I've seen him in 4 years. That's the worst I've seen. Mahomes was playing behind the routes the entire night. You're like this. He's fucking throwing it right to Oren Burks. He couldn't see him. So remember when you said, how did our defense improve this year? Most shocking thing to you. It is. When you said, how did our defense improve? Is this the most shocking thing to you? I can't believe that, how great they've gotten week in and week out. I can't believe how great Zach Bond has played week to week. I cannot fucking believe that. Xander, I missed the super. Here reading Ace's super chat. The QB coach tandem that the Eagles beat for our last 3 championships. Mahomes, Reed, 2024, Brady, Belichick, Starr, Lombardi. Pretty impressive. That's a historical thing there, but that is. I've got some numbers here, too, which makes it even more fucking insane what they did last night. Guys, please hit the like button. He did this more so than in Super Bowl 57. And what he did in 59. Like I said, you had no sacks in Super Bowl 57. None. You had no pressure in 57. You were everywhere. It looked like the Eagles had 20 players on defense last night. Kudos. How about this one? I mean, cover 4. Vic came up with cover 4 last night. He had cover 4 63.6% of the time last night on Mahomes on dropbacks. Mahomes was 4-8 for 23 yards and a pick. He played cover 4 last night against Mahomes, and Mahomes couldn't figure it out. He could not figure out cover 4. Vic gave him a different look. Almost 64% of the time, he had him in cover 4. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Just tremendous. At the half, KJ, what do you think about the refs? I think they settled down after the first 2 shitty calls. I think there was one that was totally fucking stupid on AJ, and then I think that McDuffie one was like a makeup one, and I think they settled down after that. You know what I'm saying? KJ, I think they kind of settled that down. Thank you for being straight with the audience. Go Birds. Tremendous performance. And KJ, I didn't really hear him after that. You know what I mean? Cheers to the Eagles and all players. It's funny, Nick and Hurts have a Super Bowl ring before Dak and Scott. How we got to pay some players. Going to get to all this. Tremendous performance. Kudos to you. Congratulations. You proved Big Sills wrong. Prove me wrong. This is bigger than Lamar proving me wrong. Because both sides of the football proved me wrong. Tremendous. Kudos. How about this? Last night, 52.4 pressure rate you had on the quarterback. With what you guys are saying, 1 blitz. It defined the game. It defined the game. When was the last time the backups came in to finish up a Super Bowl? It was embarrassing if you're Kansas City. You were blown off the field. Defense and Hurts and coaching were the storylines in that Super Bowl. Defense, Hurts, and coaching in that order. You know, I know all of you want to, because the quarterback gets all the kudos. I'm a defensive guy. That's one of the greatest displays I've ever seen. Just absolutely shut them down without any problems. I mean, they couldn't handle not just Jalen Carter. They couldn't handle the entire defense. They couldn't handle the edge rushers. They couldn't handle the corners. They couldn't handle the disguised coverages. It was just, without a doubt, an insane display on what they did defensively. It's the greatest defense in Eagle history. This defensive beatdown was like the 85 Bears and the 13 Hawks. Bro, this thing's like that. It's like that Super Bowl. Like I said, the Bears beat the Patriots team. Tremendous. Tremendous. We'll get to the numbers here in a second, but defense, Hurts, and coaching were superior in the game. Here, I'll do it for you guys. I used to do it for other teams. That's as close as the game was the coin flip. Hurts' pick turnover had no bearing this time. They went out and beat the fuck out. I thought this thing would be close, but I did not believe Kansas City could stop your toughness. I didn't believe they would embarrass your toughness. It was embarrassing. You're Kansas City. You haven't been destroyed like that in 5 years. And I don't want to hear excuses. You didn't fucking show up. Tremendous legacy win for the entire organization from top to bottom. Haven't seen such a dynamic performance like this since Denver and Seattle. Will this 2024 team be considered one of the greatest of all time? I'll tell you this, greatest of all time has to be done with multiple championships before you want to be called the greatest of all time. You don't get crowned being the greatest of all time with one title. That's why you talk the Patriot dynasty, what the Chiefs are in the middle of, the Cowboy dynasty. You've got to win multiple. However, the amount of winning that you have done the last 4 years, combined with that beating and the 2 Super Bowl appearances, that puts you now in a conversation to start that convo. See, you couldn't do this in 17. That wasn't one of the greatest teams of all time. That was one of the greatest upsets of all time. That team had no Super Bowl window. You know why? Because that was more kind of like a fluke, what you did in that game. This ain't no fluke. That's why this win's different. This win's different than 17. Nobody knew that they were going to go in there and beat that. Dude, people were kind of thinking it would be a blowout, but they weren't sure. I couldn't believe Kansas City would be blown out like that. They were destroyed. Angelo Cataldi's going to join us at 3:30. Also, we're hoping to catch Gary Cobb. Xander's going to be with us. It's just the beatdown. Big Sills, we did it. No doubt. Did it? Convincing fashion. Absolutely floored by our defense. We made Mahomes look like Daniel Jones. Redemption. Been on the ride for all of us. Thank you for giving the fans a voice and voicing how we feel. World champions. No question about it, Anthony. That was well-deserved. And for a fan base like the Philadelphia Eagles, kudos to you. You should be sitting around so excited about your fucking football team right now on what they did and how they destroyed another professional football team with a guy who's considered one of the GOATs. Unbelievable. This is no more theory talk. This is all reality now. Your reality is real. That's why people like Xander and people from Philadelphia can't believe it right now, because you know why it hasn't sunken in? Because now it's reality. All you did was talk about it. All it was this. Now it's not this. Now it's etched in stone. You put your footprints in the sand here, guys. That wasn't just a beat down. That was an iconic performance that I've not seen since the Bears. That, I want you, see, hey, winning a Super Bowl is one thing. Do you understand? You crushed the team in the game. You destroyed them. Cooper DeJean IQ on defense is incredible. And whoever Q was guarding was invisible. Dude, Quinyon Mitchell's name thing get barked out all night. Those 2 rookies are literally the saving grace for our defense. And I think the guy in the middle, too, and the other guy in the middle is also a saving grace. Okay? I think that's also a saving grace on what you're seeing there, too. Tremendous performance. I was in all the whole, you know what I was saying the whole night? Holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit. My wife started laughing. I'm going, holy fucking shit. I can't believe how they're ripping this team a new one. Dude, that was built to ass. Running back to Checo, wide receiver Worthy and Casey family, another players party at Vandal Lounge next to me the night before. Had no focus in New Orleans. Well, that wasn't the case for the Eagles, man. They got on the football field and were completely focused. There's no question Vic Fangio outcoached Andy Reid. Vic Fangio outcoached Andy Reid. Still defensively, which Super Bowl reminds you more of 25? Rich Gannon's loss to the Bucs, to Peyton. Manning's loss to the Seahawks. This thing here, man, has the. It's more. That Bucs beatdown was pretty good in San Diego. That the Buccaneers took the Raiders out. This thing reminds me, again, like I said, it reminds me more of the Bears in '86, killing that Patriots team. They held the Patriots to 7 yards rushing. But that Patriots team is not what the Chiefs had done. That's why that may be more statistically an ass beating, but this is more historically an ass beating. Fucking great. Tremendous performance by the coaches. Howie. Let me ask you something here before we continue. Does Jeffrey Lurie now make Howie Roseman the richest general manager in all of sports for what he's been building? Would you not agree, Howie Roseman, since he came out of the Chip Kelly closet, he's been better. He's been better. Don't you make him the highest paid general manager? My favorite player of the game was Milton Williams, another tremendous ball player. Almost broke Patrick Mahomes' armor, reminding me of Brandon Graham and Hassan Reddick. You got to pay Howie Roseman. I mean, you got to pay him. The one thing I love about Sills is that this show is that he could change his opinion on something and say, I'm wrong. You didn't make any excuses. Salute. Anthony, they proved me wrong. I told you what I would do on a Monday. They fucking went out and emphatically proved me wrong. God, I love that. Fuck. Don't you? Players going out and performing and shutting people up, changing narratives. That's what it's about, dude. Oren Burks, no drop off from Nakobe Dean. By the way, he's a free agent. I think he's vital. You have to sign him. You have to sign Oren Burks now until Dean gets back. And you know what your 3-man, maybe 4-man rotation will be? Oren Burks, Zach Bond, Nakobe Dean, and Jeremiah Trotter. There's your 4 backers for the next 5 years. Fuzander, you missed my super chat. Even though they didn't get a lot of yards by sticking with the run game, with the play calling, play action was open all night long, and they never abandoned it and never abandoned who they are. Harv, exactly right. Hurts was great. Xander, I may have missed the super. Somebody says I missed one. I thought we'd been getting them all here. How we can't draft defense, you said that. I did. These are the first guys he's nailed. And at the right time. These are the first players. He's failed miserably at corner for 20 years. He lands on 2. Hey, who cares about the past? We live in the present now. His history hasn't changed, my friends. Because you win a Super Bowl doesn't change the fact that these are the first 2 people that he's landed on. I mean, that's not changed. That's not changed. It's still the same. But they hit him, and you get 2 of them. Kudos to you, man. Kudos. By the numbers now. By the way, yeah. I fear Barkley was amazing. Jalen stepped up. Dude, the fear of Barkley, was he kind of like a decoy? I thought Saquon gave you tough fucking yards in that game. This defense travels and plays well in the dome. I told you they'd look faster. Holding teams to under 20 points. Did I not tell you that favors being in that dome and on that surface? That favored Philly. You're just faster than what they are. Supers go to the top. Please give me a total on the number where we are in the likes. The historic Georgia defense has made their mark in Philly. Did they ever? Emphatically. First Take had an interesting take. Jalen obviously doesn't look as pretty as the other quarterbacks, but he wins far more than the other guys. Do you rank a guy like that? And how you rank him? Xander, I've missed a couple here. wins far more than how you rank a guy like that. How do you rank a guy like that? Xander, if we can get those supers. I love Philly, but it's disgusting how a lot of these people destroy our city after a win. Yeah, I never got that too, Jason. I never got that, my friend. The Chiefs were so focused on Barkley. They got what Hurts can do with this offense, and QB1 made them pay. Absolutely. I'm behind on that one there, Jan. I've been critical of Jalen and Coach Nick. If they kick my ass along the way, Kansas City's worth it. All hail the Eagles. We end dynasties, and no one likes it. We don't care. And B, great. Saquon, pass pro, is elite. He is a fucking weapon in pass protection. He is a weapon. Dude, his pass protection was insane last night. He was great last night. Guys, hit the like button. Give me a total on the likes. By the numbers. I mean, the defensive numbers are insanity. They're just insane here on what you did defensively here. Just insane. All across the board on what you did defensively. First downs, 21-12. Wait till I show you this one here. And it tells you again a little bit about the trend of the game. I hope Howie drafts another DEDT early in the draft. Keep that line young, deep, and inexpensive. Great take, John. Look at this, total plays. Eagles ran 70. This time you held them 49 plays. And you crushed them because you finished them off. The long 5-year run wore Kansas City down, played a factor. I guess, Anthony, but I'm not going to use that today. I agree. But you got to show, dude, a part of your game has to show up, doesn't it? Nobody showed up. The coaching didn't show up. Total yards, 345 to 278. Chief, that game looked like 100-0 to me. Or at least it felt like 100-0 to me. Seals, the first Super Bowl win will always have a special place in my heart, but this one is more satisfying to me. Best Super Bowl ever. Elite team. Elite team, historic team on what they did. And now, like I said, with the wins, you add up all the shit they've done to get there in their journey, it now validates it. I said you validate that stuff. You have to have a champion. Hey, guys, do you realize what you've done here? This is not about one night. This is about what Hurts talks about, the journey. This is the 4-year journey, not a 1-year night or 1-game night. This is the journey of 4 years. It all came to a head. It came to a head last night. By the way, I'm just telling you what I saw yesterday and what I felt yesterday watching this thing. I can't tell you how many times I said, oh my fucking God, I can't believe they're dismantling, not winning. I don't think I ever said that last night. I can't believe they're winning. I think I said, I can't believe they're dismantling this team. My wife was the one that pointed out, did they blitz tonight? I'm like, I don't think so. So they got home with 4 guys. That's how you whip a team. That's how you whip a fucking team. Holy shit. I'll tell you what you did. You exposed Kansas City. They got a lot of work to do. Kansas City's got a ton of work to do. Ton of work. 6 sacks in the ball game. All hail. Bird Gang. Kingdom. Bang, bang. Hurts was good. He really was. Hurts was great. Man. Get this. You had 8 penalties for 59 yards. Really? Fucking, you had a turnover and you had 8 penalties. And that didn't even play a factor. It had nothing to do with the game. You just beat the fuck out of them. calling it now, Birds will be the first team to three-peat. I'm not going there. Okay? Let's see how you get through free agency first. Everything Kansas City did to us in 23, we did to them last night. No run game, one-dimensional, 0 turnovers, and no coaching adjustments. Last night literally felt like Avengers Endgame. I mean, took us time, but we won. Man, halftime, I thought the game was over. I said it to my folks that were there. I said, the game's over. Okay? Hogan down bad. Okay? The D-line was the X factor, and it's the area with the biggest decisions to make. Offseason should be interesting. Corey, yes, should be. You were fucking electric last night as an organization. Every single area of your fucking football team last night was on display. The front office, the coaching, the players' execution. You didn't have a flaw last night, and if you did, it didn't have an impact on the game. Because you know why? You were just better. You fucking went into that game, and you grabbed these guys by the nuts, and you fucking twisted it off and said, I own the night. I own the day. You own the day today. You had the ball for 30. You know what? I opened up the show with what the Bears did in that Super Bowl. Listen to this. The Bears had the ball for 40 minutes in that game. Last night, you had the ball for theoretically 37 minutes in a 60-minute ball game. I mean, almost 40 minutes you had that fucker. At a 60-minute ball game, Kansas City had no room to breathe. You did not let off the – you know what you did? You beat them up so fucking bad, they couldn't breathe. When they looked up, they were down 24-0. It was over. Never forget this guy said Jalen would never win. Absolutely, Mello. Never forget that. I said that. Congratulations, he won. Never forget that. I fucking refuse to say and always will say one thing to you, my friends. I live on what I say. Unlike others. You damn right I said that. Kudos to him. That makes it mean more to me when that fucking guy comes through. Difference between me and you, dickhead. I live and I stand on what I do for 40 years on the air. There's a difference. In my show and any show you watch. Any show you watch. I am so excited for you. Look at M. Reyes. M. Reyes thinks I'm mad. No, I'm excited for you. Mad? How could you be mad at a performance like that? I told you I love watching greatness. I was on display last night. How could you be mad at anything on what you witnessed last night? That was fucking tremendous. Let's be honest, if the Patriots and Chiefs played in the NFC East, I don't think they'd have all those rings. You're not suggesting to me you think that Dallas and New York are a good football team, do you? I sure hope you don't think that. Xander, I missed a couple super chats because of a stupid-ass comment. Do me a favor if we can get some of those. Guys, please hit the like button. Says, who's the OC do for the Birds to build to this win? I'm going to say Frank Reich. Okay, but they're probably going to go Kevin Patullo. Okay, because they're going to want to try to keep some continuity in the building. And I don't know if I have a problem with that. As long as they keep the running the football the way they are. Xander, I think I got a couple more of these because you guys were great. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit that like button. Give me a total on the likes here, too. We're 43 minutes into the ball game. You guys are killing it here. What was Kansas City's offensive game plan? Everyone's got a game plan until they get punched in the mouth. Nothing looked fluid. Their defense actually held Saquon and blitzed pretty well. I'll tell you, Gabe, you know what they said in this ball game? Hurts can't beat me. And he did. Reed and Spags are overrated. So you think the guys with 5 AFC titles and 3 Super Bowl rings are overrated? Kyle, that's an asshole comment. Don't get ahead of yourselves. Overrated? They were outplayed last night. That's such a Monday morning comment. How are they overrated with 3 rings? Spags got 4 and all the conference championships. How's that fucking overrated? I mean, what's next? Mahomes is not great? How dumb can you say? Stupid comments. Dude, don't. Here's what you get sometimes with comments like Kyle's. Don't downplay who you played. Lift them up. It builds your win up more. Don't you understand that? A guy like Kyle is trying to tell you that Andy Reid and Spags are overrated. So that why? You can diminish your win and your dominant performance? You take a shot at your own fucking win. It's a stupid take. It's a stupid take. You were dominant last night against dominant people. Mahomes, 21 to 32, 257, 3 TDs, and 2 interceptions. Bro, it was the worst game I've ever seen him play. Hurts 17 to 22, 221, a touchdown and a pick. Hurts 72 yards rushing. It was great in the ball game. We said 3 TDs. He ended up with 3 TDs. I thought he had 65 yards rushing. He ended up landed on 72. I thought he'd be around 150 yards passing. Had more yards passing. Had a great throw to the center of the field on a TD pass. Was probably the offensive play of the game. Barkley had 25 tough-ass carries for 57 yards. They were critical in the win. Devontae, 4 for 69. AJ, 343 and 1. Xavier Worthy had a great game, but it was stupid time. It was in Kirk Cousins' time. 8 for 157 and 2. Game was over when he started adding those numbers that the Chiefs got. Dude, they just made the score box look better. For future references and historical references, Kansas City made the box score look better. So when you look back on it, that they didn't get murdered like I thought they were going to shut them out. 75 points against Spags in 2 Super Bowls, no adjustments. Xander, I missed the super here. Apologize, guys. They're coming. They're whipping in on me. Patrick Mahomes will probably finish his career with 6 Super Bowls. Even Brady knows this kid is some serious player. Machiavelli, he is. Anybody who fucking goes on one night that Patrick Mahomes is overrated or Reed's overrated or Spags is overrated, you're fucking retarded. Okay? Retarded. And don't downplay your win. You beat – that's like downplaying Brady and Belichick. Play it. Elevate who you beat. It elevates your win. Stupid. Why would you take a shot at your own game? Zach Bond. He gets the Mr. Consistency trophy. Guy's been the best player on the Eagles all year long. I mean, every fucking game. You know, how many times did we say this from the Green Bay Brazil game? He can't do this. How many games the Eagles play this year? He did it every week. This guy did this every week. Every week he did this. It's unbelievable on what I saw. Every week he did this. It was absolutely unbelievable on what he did. I mean, unreal. Every single week, he was playing like this at an incredible level. Says you think the 2023 Super Bowl would have had the same outcome with Fangio calling the D instead of Gannon. Not with the same players you had a year ago. Because Hassan Reddick didn't want to play. Hit the like button, guys. Killing it in the first hour. Josh Sweat. Hey, look. I'm not going to say Josh Sweat should have been the MVP because you know why? you'll think I'm taking some sort of fucking psycho shot at Jalen Hurts. 6'2", 2.5, 3 tackles for losses, and 5 hits on the quarterback. The fuck are you talking about? He was unblockable. And the other guy, Milton, 5 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 TFLs, 3 hits on the quarterback. Those 2 guys were off the charts unblockable. Get this. Jalen Carter had a nice game. Those 2 guys were off the charts. They were off the charts. It's the best games I've ever seen both those guys play. In the most important game that those guys will ever play. I've never seen those guys play like that before in my entire life. They were just, what a money game for them. Holy cow. Were they insane? Whoa. Cooper DeJean. You know, I saw something like a pump. He showed up, man, in a great game. Actually, the last 2 weeks, NFC title game and Super Bowl. Hurts is my Messiah. Hey, he delivered. He's the deliverer. Super Bowl 57, Rocky won. Super Bowl 59, Rocky 2. Like that. The Chiefs beat a lot of really good teams in the AFC, but the Super Bowl shows that none of these teams had the defense the Eagles did. Absolutely true. You know what we should have saw that, Jeremiah? With that Ravens game. And how easily that the Eagles beat the Ravens. And how Kansas City had to kind of move around with them. You know, we should have saw that should have been more. Instead of the Steeler game, that should have been the tell game for us. That they weren't going to be able to handle that defense. They couldn't handle the defense. Kellen Moore is here to stay. Tell you what, I know Nick made a plea for him. And it would not shock me. I think that thing could go either way, whether they keep him in the room, on him going there. Remember something. They got Capel working out. They got a quarterback to figure out. Got a lot of work to do there in New Orleans. Got a lot of work to do. They took that team apart, dude. Please mention how Jalen Carter work in the middle opened up things for his teammates Sweat and Williams. Mahomes couldn't step up. He could not step up in the pocket because of Jordan Davis, too. He had no room to step up in the pocket, and they closed the perimeter down. Okay? Guys had an iconic performance. Angelo Cataldi's going to join us at 3:30. Hit the like button, guys. Here's my game balls. And I'm going to start from 10. I gave AJ one. AJ sucked it up. That's not how he wanted to win a Super Bowl. But he sucked it up. Now he's got a ring on his finger and an NFC championship ring on his finger. Of all the star wide receivers in the NFL right now, who can say that? Tyreek Hill can say that. Who else? I'm talking about guys in their prime. Kupp has that. I'm not thinking Kupp's in his prime, though. Name me one. Let's see. Tyreek Hill. Who else? DK Metcalf? No. Debo, who's just been told he can be traded? No. Who else? Who else? Devontae Adams? No. Stephon Diggs? No. Justin Jefferson? No. Mike Evans? Is he still in his prime? I don't think so. Name me a wide receiver in their prime right now. Mike Evans isn't in his prime. Name me a receiver in their prime right now. Jamar Chase has a AFC championship ring, okay? Not awful. Kansas City plays man defense mainly, and the Eagles' offense excels against man, especially passing offenses. Kansas City's defense was still really good in great positions, but Eagle players are better, and they are elite. They are, Jason. They played elite football in there. Big Sills, I just got here. Who do you think deserved the MVP last night? Quarterback's going to get that. I thought Sweat was the best player on the field last night. I thought he was the best player. Jamar Chase has no – AJ's the most accomplished wide receiver, big-time wide receiver in the NFL right now that's in their prime. Name me another one. Jefferson, Chase, and who else? Ahmad St. Brown. Who else? No one. Chiefs had no answer for Vic's cover 4. I couldn't believe he got confused with that. You think St. Brown's got the same resume now with AJ with 2 NFC championship rings and a Super Bowl title? How is he more accomplished? How is he more accomplished than AJ? I mean, I don't see it. He's the number one. You can make the argument he's the most accomplished wide receiver, number 1 wide receiver in their prime in the league right now. Well, he's got to look at it like that. May not have had the superstar number. Get this. Remember what Phil Jackson used to tell Michael Jordan? Hey, Mike, you want to win NBA championships? You got to stop winning scoring titles. They went on to win 6. Remember? That was one of the conversations that Jordan said that Phil Jackson had with him. Hey, you want to start winning championships? Devontae's not the number 1 receiver on the Eagles. Okay? We're talking about number 1s. CeeDee Lamb, again, nothing. No accomplish. Number 9, Quinyon Mitchell. I didn't hear his name all fucking night. When I don't hear a corner's name, what a lights-out game he must have played. All I got to say, Vic Fangio's goated. What a performance. Barkley, 57. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think Barkley had what? Saquon had about 97 yards in total offense last night, right? Had like 57 rushing, 40 in the air. Tremendous blocking. Had about 100 yards total offense last night. They were hard fought, man. He gets game ball 8. Number 7, Devontae Smith. He was just tremendous getting. How many times did he get past and beyond the Chiefs secondary in one-on-one? He beat the secondary all night at the Chiefs. Saquon was spectacular in blitz pickup. A dirty job, and he did it. He was so fucking good last night, Barkley. I mean, people probably don't understand what pass protection is for a running back. That's why most guys don't play. He was awesome in it. Number 6, I'm sorry to say this to you, and I know all you Nakobe Dean lovers, Oren Burks did not have one bit of drop-off from Dean to him. It was the same look. He played spectacular throughout the entire playoffs. There wasn't a game he played in the playoffs where he wasn't a game ball winner. He was fucking incredible. He had an absolutely insane game on how good he was. Kind of like the 75 Steelers. I'm saying 85 Bears. Hey, by the way, no disrespect to Seth Joyner. They may have had better players on Gang Green. This is a better unit. You're more accomplished. This unit is the most accomplished unit in Philadelphia Eagle history, including the 17 Super Bowl. You gave up 500 yards in that game. Or probably more because Brady had 500 himself. And you crushed that Chiefs team. This is the best Eagle defense in Super Bowl era history. You watched it. That's why it's historic. Because you took out gangrene. That'll be one of the most memorable performances of all time defensively. No one's ever made Brady look bad in a Super Bowl, and no one's ever made Montana. Montana had no picks. You want to hear a stat? What you guys did, Patrick Mahomes has more picks in 5 games than Brady does now in 10. Do you hear me? Mahomes has thrown more picks in 5 Super Bowl appearances than Brady has thrown in 10 appearances. That's what you did last night. Okay? What happens to Gainwell? He's a free agent. I don't care. Go get the kid from Arizona State, draft him in the 3rd, 4th round. Put him back there with Barkley. You need more of a power back there, in my opinion. Help out Saquon. You got Shipley if you want to put him in the pass game. Number 5, I got Cooper DeJean. I saw something. Will somebody tell me this? I saw a high school jacket on Cooper DeJean that said 2021. Did that fucking kid graduate high school in 2021? How many years did he play at Iowa? 3? 2? Did he come out early? Are you telling me that guy graduated high school in 2021? And that guy has a pick 6 against Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and you're fucking telling me that guy's standing in the end zone with a Super Bowl pick, and he graduated in 2021? The only reason that guy didn't go in the first round is because he's white. The Miami defense were a bunch of babies. That's right. How does that look now if you're down there in Miami and you say Nick was old man thinking fucking guys' standards were different, no one wanted to listen to him, number 1 defense, and now he's a Super Bowl champion coordinator. Miami looks like a bunch of dicks now. You let that guy go? You let that guy go. Unbelievable. Miami looks stupid. Hit the like button, guys. Great first hour. Do me a favor. Give me a total on the likes. Iconic performance. There's nothing more to say. By the way, I'm going to get to Hurts here in a minute. Okay? Number 4 on my game balls. Milton Williams. Milton Williams was a sensational superstar last night. He was sensational. Number 3, Mr. Consistency. Zach Bond. Just tremendous. Number 2, and I went back and forth, and I probably put Josh Sweat number 2 because I didn't want anybody to think that I was hating on Hurts. Josh Sweat was the best player on the field last night. He was unstoppable. He just was unstoppable. You know what he's motivated by? What's to come for him. He has now made it very clear. Hey, here I am. Highest bidder. Come get me. That's who Drew Rosenhaus is. And for the record, this was inevitable anyway. This was inevitable. I wouldn't sweat it if you signed Myles Garrett. And by the way, you know what I would do if I were you, if I were an Eagle fan? Hey, Josh, you helped us win 2 NFC championships. Thank you. Your service is well done here. You had a hell of a Super Bowl. Good luck to you in the future. You'll always be welcome back here in Philadelphia. Thank you very much for what you did. Should we keep Sweat? No. It's not economically worth it. He's going to command $22 million. 18 to $20 million. Somebody will overpay for him because of what he did in the Super Bowl. Is he deserving of that? Yeah, this year. Next year, probably not. And depending on what system he goes to, how do you know he's going to fit in where he goes? I don't know that. That's always a gamble in free agency. Are you really sure you want to go somewhere? You better go somewhere where they'll pay you and you got a shot. And I got Jalen Hurts number 1. Here's the thing you got to remember about Jalen Hurts. And here's the one thing that I'll say about him. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar, Herbert, they're now theory. Well, they're better than Jalen. Well, what do I tell you about resumes? Well, how many of these guys here have helped their team win 2 NFC or conference titles? How many have a Super Bowl ring? How many of them have a Super Bowl MVP? No matter what I fucking say. Sills, you tell people to read resumes every day. Who's got a better resume than me? No one. You got a better resume than Stafford now. No matter what I say, it's irrelevant. No matter what I put out there, it's irrelevant. He's won 2 conference titles. He's got one of the highest win percentages now in football. He's got, like I said, 2 conference championship rings in a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP. What the fuck do you want me to do about that? Argue it? Can't. There's no arguing it. He did it. If you want to make a movie on a kid, I used to always think this. The greatest movie that I think you could ever have is Kurt Warner's movie. Here's a guy that was benched in a national championship game at halftime. You want to know what resiliency is? It's your quarterback in Philly. It's your QB in Philly. Being resilient, winning, there's no debate. Sills, you keep telling me Lamar and Josh are better. Yeah, I know. Well, Jalen's won more. And things that matter. I look dumb. Yeah, but they're better. Aaron Rodgers is better than Brady. Does it matter? No. Aaron Rodgers is a more talented quarterback than Tom Brady. But that has no relevancy in the conversation. When you're talking about championships, it really doesn't. My comments fall on deaf ears. Sills, you're not seeing the fucking gold through the hedges here. You tell us all the time. We're just using your own metric, resume. Name me another guy in the fucking NFL outside of Mahomes that's got a resume that speaks to Jalen Hurts' resume. There isn't one. Russell Wilson, well, that guy's on the back 9, and he's going to be looking for a new team. I'm not putting him there. Russell Wilson's time is gone. Do you understand when players perform and change their narrative? To me, that's what the great. Hey, let me ask you this. Did Brady change the narrative on a 6th-round draft choice coming out of Michigan? And he was picked to be some sort of Tanner McKee. Was he not? Did Brady change the narrative on a 6th-round pick? He did. What are you going to do? Debate 10 Super Bowl appearances and 7 wins? How do you debate that? You can't. There is no fucking debating that. There's no debating that. I mean, there's none. Why would more coach the Saints? They are a complete dumpster fire. I know head coaches are rare, but you're set up for failure, Nola. Khalid, $2 million over the next 3 years, 6, versus 30. You can add, right? 30 million versus 6 million. I mean, you can add, right? Tremendous. Tremendous performance. Hit the like button. By the way, Angelo Cataldi will be with us at the bottom of the hour here. I want to give some Super Bowl awards out now. Let me start from the back here. We'll work our way up. Hit the like button, guys. Thank you, guys. Give me a total on our likes. You guys have been great. Super chats go to the top. Thank you very much. We can't do this stuff without you. You were great on the post-game show last night as well. So let's go here with some of these awards. It's very good. 450 in the first hour. Keep it up, guys. The Front Office Award. Howie and the owner. Since Chip Kelly, Howie and the owner have carved out a niche. They've carved out a niche. 3 conference championships, a Super Bowl, massive winning, moving off of coaches, moving off of quarterbacks. Michael, thank you very much. I mean, it's a lesson in how to build an organization coming out of a situation like Chip Kelly. Front office gets a ton of kudos and has a lot of impact in this here. And I'll tell you this, I think there's more impact in this Super Bowl from your front office than there was in 17. You know why? I always thought there was a power struggle between Doug and the front office. They're working together. I think they're working together. That's why your Super Bowl window's open more. Your Super Bowl window is open more now because there's not infighting between who's going to get the credit for it. I think everybody's comfortable with sharing the wealth this time around versus what happened in 17. The Mr. Tough Guy Award goes to Saquon Barkley. His pass pro was great. His tough yards, 97 total yards, was kind of more of a decoy in this ball game, along with AJ. He gave you a really great, tough game. May not have shown up on the stat line, but you know what he gave you? He gave you one whale of a fucking tough performance. He played his ass off last night, in my opinion. Angelo's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. The Mr. Substitute of the Super Bowl Award goes to Oren Burks. Jesus Christ. The coaching, Bobby King might be the position coach of the year. Oh, he might be the position coach of the year. I mean, I know that, Stoutland's the run coordinator, so he's kind of considered the coordinator of the offensive running game. But boy, I'll tell you, Bobby King's the last 2 years of linebacker play in Philadelphia have really reaped a lot of negativity, especially from me, because they've just not been good. They bring this Bobby King guy in. He's fucking transformed your linebacking core and your talent like I've not seen. He's been spectacular. I mean, he's going to get a coordinating job somewhere one day down the line. I don't know this year, next year, but somebody's going to give him an opportunity to be a defensive coordinator, because the player development that he did this year, every time they put a guy in, there was no drop off. You know what he coached like? I'll tell you. He coached like Jeff Stoutland. Oh, let's do this. How do you think Clint Hurts' front four played? How do you think his front four played? That was an exhibition of football last night by Clint's guys. He put an exhibition on. His four guys dominated that football game. His four guys controlled that game. One blitz. I mean, you don't have to blitz Patrick Mahomes in a Super Bowl and you crush him? In his entire career, I don't think that's ever happened. They did something last night that Mahomes has never seen. I mean, even Jalen Hurts was a factor last night. Fucking insane. Just fucking insane how great of a performance that thing was last night. You cannot in any way not come away going, man, it's just unbelievable. The Mr. Consistency Award, Zach Bond. Wow. He's been the most consistent ball player on your football team all year long. Since Brazil, he kept the pace up. Okay. I happen to tune in a little bit too to what John was saying about Jalen Hurts not getting criticized. I don't know what the fuck John's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about. I'm not the only one that people have gone after. Nick Wright, people on ESPN, people on Fox. He's out of his tree. Jalen has to be one of the most scrutinized guys at the position in the league. I'd say top 3. I don't know what John's talking about. He's not really criticized. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? The Death Nail Award. Cooper DeJean, pick 6. He gets it. God, I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you guys, and I'm going to say it one more time. Okay? I'm going to say it again. Cooper DeJean impresses me more than Quinyon Mitchell. He impresses me more. I think ever since they put him in after the bye, the defense never looked the same. I mean, the defense never looked the same. After they put, would you guys agree to that? That prior to the bye, they didn't have him starting, right? They put him in after the bye. The defense never looked the same. I mean, tremendous. Unit, most valuable player, D-line. Almost no blitzes, controlled the game. They outplayed your old line. What? The Philadelphia Eagles once again have the best combination of D-line, O-line in the league. That is scary. That's what won the Super Bowl for you in 17. You know, that was my drumbeat going into that game. I didn't know how Foles would play, but I remember saying this going into that game. Eagles got the best O-line, D-line combo heading into that game. I'll take their O-line and their D-line. That could be the outcome of the game, and it was. But this is better. It's the best O-line, D-line combination in the league. Can anyone name me a better one? It's got a better O-line, better D-line as a combo. Philadelphia Eagles own the trenches. You have to go to warfare when you play them. I mean, dude, for a guy like me, saying that you own the best lines in football, us, you can't lose a war or a battle when you have that. I might be prisoner of the moment, but Zach Bonds might have had a Hall of Fame season. It might be better than Fred Warner. See, you are a prisoner of the moment. Let's see a couple of years stacked on top of one another before you start calling him better than Fred Warner. Okay? Let's do that. That's like telling me, well, John Sweat's got a Super Bowl ring. Reggie White didn't have one in Philly. And he's the better defensive end in Philadelphia Eagle history. Come on, man. I mean, that's not what that is. So let's put a couple years on top of one another here for Orn. Is he going to be here's something else to think about too, TP. When you make a comment like that, you think Bond's going to be able to be consistent like that year in and year out for the next 3 or 4 years? That's theory. That's a theory. Okay? That's not fact because he hasn't done it yet. No one's saying he won't. But until he proves that, that's just theory. Let me ask you something too, TP. To that point, are you going to pay a guy based off of 1 year, $20 million a year? Are you going to give him a 3-year, $60 million deal with 38 of it guaranteed? Are you? And will Bond maybe take 5x or less off the top? Probably. He may do that. He loves it in Philly, and he loves Vic. Here in a couple minutes, we're going to get our friend Angelo Cataldi on with us. Cooper was hurt, but when he healed and got caught up, he went in, and I'm sick of people trying to divide the team. They all played great together team ball. They did. Nobody's trying to divide it. I mean, that was a team effort last night. Played exceptional football across the line. They were great. 5 years, 80. Well, you're gonna have to. I would take the 5th year. I would. Guys, give me a total on the likes. I can't thank you enough. Please, supers, all go to the top here. I wrote down free agency. And I talked to Drew Rosenhaus and Dan Morgan this morning. Would you like to hear some early projections on your most important free agents? Would you like to hear them? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of your free agents. I talked to a general manager, and I talked to an executive in New England, Alonzo Highsmith, and I talked to a bunch of people who are going to be out scouting and recruiting potential free agents in this coming offseason here, okay? So, you tell me, all right? Zach Bond, he will be pursued by the Washington Commanders and the Denver Broncos in this upcoming season, if he so chooses to go free agency. Those two teams would be in the market. What do I think happens? I don't know what his agent is going to tell him or project him to be. I have no idea. And Daz is saying he's going nowhere. Okay. I have no problem with you saying that right now on February 10th. Absolutely true. He will be one of the hottest sought-after free agents in all of the NFL. Number 2, Mekhi Becton. Texans and Chiefs. Chiefs have to rebuild that O-line after that nightmare last night. And Texans have to get help for C.J. Stroud. What is Becton going to do? Again, these are early projections. I'm not telling you on February 10th they're leaving because I don't know that. All I know is that I talked to some GMs and I talked to people that are in these organizations that we've had on these programs that you know, and this is what they're saying. These people are going to be sought after. Would a second rounder and Kenny Pickett be enough? Absolutely not. Chris, Kenny Pickett and a second rounder for Myles Garrett? You better chalk up 2 ones and a player for Myles Garrett. This guy's coming in wanting to give you an old broken down 1984 F-150 for a Ferrari. Happening. Kenny Pickett and a second rounder for Myles Garrett? I mean, you couldn't get Jason Garrett for that. Von Miller was traded to the Rams for a second and third. Dude, Kenny Pickett's a nobody. And a second rounder, that's not enough. All right. Hey, let me ask you something here about Oren Burks being an unrestricted free agent. Now that Nakobe Dean's injured, don't you think that he becomes more important in the process now on having him come back? Don't you sign him? Isn't he not more valuable now to your team? Don't you think he's important? I think he is, because that means I don't have to go into the draft now and try to figure out to find somebody else. He's not going to cost me a mint, but I'm bringing his ass back because I don't know what the status of, and here would be my rotation once he comes back, right? Bond, Burks, Trotter, Dean. There would be my 4 dudes. That's your linebacking group? Oren Burks played great for you in the postseason. I'm not letting that guy walk out the building if I can pay him, man. Dude, if he goes on the open market, he'll be a dude. He'll get some decent money. But I think you've got to bring him back because of the injury to Nakobe Dean. I think you've got to bring him back. Okay? Hit the like button, guys. You guys have been great. Give me a total on the likes. I love you guys' super chats. Sweat and Milton in a first for Miles. Now you're talking. Now you're talking. Okay? Now you are talking. We're going to get to all your super chats. By the way, you guys have been great. I mean, we've got over 1,200 people in here on all the platforms here right now. We appreciate everybody coming in here. I got to tell you one more time here, before we bring Angelo up here, that's one of the best performances I've ever seen by a defensive football team in the Super Bowl. And I would make this point to you. That's the best performance I've seen since the Bears beat the doorknobs off the Patriots when they held them to 7 yards rushing when Bledsoe was the quarterback. The only difference is that was a non-salary cap era. That wasn't Reed and Mahomes and everybody was glazing over them. You're talking about knocking off people that are being considered iconic. I never want to hear this again about Reed and also Mahomes. Hey, Belichick and Mahomes. Dude, Belichick and Brady never got destroyed in Super Bowls. They never were destroyed like this. That team was unprepared. Josh Sweat was the best player on the field last night. Man, what an absolute ass beating. I'm going to bring Angelo up here in a sec. I got to tell you, I looked over at my wife. I went, 23 yards in the first half in total offense. This thing's over. I'll do it to Angelo here. Watch this. Coin toss at the start of the game. That thing was over. more of an iconic win than 17. That may have been your first. You always remember it? That's a beatdown. Let's bring our friend Angelo Cataldi in, who called the beatdown. Hey, he said 5 wins, but he also said, I can't wait to see Andy Reid and everyone on that sidelines just moaning the way that they were. Boy, I saw more jaws like this, Angelo.
It was so good. It was magic. I got to start with this, though, Dan. I know I'm sure you've said something by now. You sent me your prediction before the game, and it was the best prediction anybody gave. Anyway, tell them what the score was that you told me before the game.
I said 30-20. I said it would be 24.
No, you said 40-24.
Yeah, 40-24. I think I told you.
40-24.
Yeah.
How is that possible? Nobody. That's crazy. But anyway, it was, Dan, I'm just trying to figure out what I loved more. Seeing that defense devour Mahomes and the Chiefs, or seeing the reaction on the Kansas City sideline when Andy Reid looked like he just got steamrolled. It was like, wait a minute. Great GOAT? He's got the GOAT? GOAT don't get the ass kicked like that ever. You're right. The biggest shock to me is that when the game mattered, when the score mattered, they had nothing. They had no response. They couldn't stop it. It was like, really? You got nothing? And, I guess this proved one thing, because it's been a big debate in my mind for years now, Dan. Who's a better defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio or Jonathan Gannon? And I think it might be Fangio, since Gannon's team choked like a dog 2 years ago when they could have won also. And this time around, that wasn't happening. Fangio just ate their lunch. It was 34-0.
I couldn't believe it, Angelo. How about this number here? So they threw cover 4 at Mahomes, and they ran that thing 63.6% of the time in dropbacks. And you want to hear something? They brought no blitzes. No. He was 4-8 for 23 yards and a pick. He coached the pants off of Andy Reid last night.
Oh, God, did he ever? Did he ever? And it was like the thing was, all right, we know Reid has won a lot of games. He couldn't adjust. They couldn't adjust. They looked, you watched Travis Kelce walking off at halftime. I don't even need to watch the second half. It's over. They're dead. They're done. They got nothing. Dan, look, you're right. I couldn't have been more wrong on my initial prediction. By the end, I realized the Eagles had the best team, and I knew they would win that game. I'm going to predict the Eagles to win 5 games every year now. Because this is great. This is more than great. This is, all the polls in Philly have grease on them today.
How about this, Angel? How do you feel today with this win compared to how you felt in 17? What's the difference in the two for you who have been in the city, covered these teams for all these decades? What's the difference for you this time around with title number 2?
Well, here's the thing. 7 years ago, no one ever thought it was going to happen. It had never happened. They had never won a Super Bowl. The whole era, they hadn't won it. What was that, 52? They had not won, and they were playing the Patriots and Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. So it was this incredible shock. And then this dreamlike feeling for weeks in the city. Then it was like, people would look around and go, did this really happen? Are you sure this happened? And then all these stories came out about how people were on their deathbed hanging on for one last chance, and the bonds between the generations and all that. When it happened, honestly, in the back of my mind, I went, well, I was here for one. That was great. That they got to another one, that they played another iconic team, facing another iconic coach and another legendary quarterback, and this time demolished them for me personally, I think I might have even enjoyed this one a little bit more because I hated the other people more than I did in the. I mean, I live. Look, the greatest quarterback of all time is Brady. The guy with the most Super Bowls is Belichick, whether you think he's the greatest or not. These guys were pretenders. But damn, all we had to deal with this past year, 2 years really, but especially the past year, every commercial's got Mahomes in it, or Kelsey, or Andy Reid being portrayed as a humorous man when we know he is not. You know, the fact that they all got their comeuppance on the biggest sports stage in the world, I can die a happy man now. It was great.
I do have to ask you this now. Now, you and me are on the same side of this here. Okay? Where does Nick Sirianni fit in this thing here now? Because Angelo, now you put the record, the 2 NFC titles, the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, his era is the greatest era in Eagle history.
Yeah.
Where do we come to grips with this now?
No, but let's not lose sight of the fact that what it took for them to win the Super Bowl was for him to strip any day-to-day coaching responsibilities. All right. But look, when the whole thing unfolded with the Gatorade, and you saw how those players were embracing him. I mean, I can't ignore that. He clearly, somehow, I don't know how, because every time I hear him talk, I want to turn the volume down. But clearly, he has connected with these players and gotten them to play in an unselfish, team-oriented approach. I can't deny that. I will never be a fan. I just don't. The guy doesn't seem intelligent to me, but he's a champion now. And the thing you got to understand about Philadelphia is when you go to the winner's circle, when you win the big one, you're it for life. They put a statue up of Doug Peterson, Freddie Shero. It's 50 years since the Flyers won anything. You mention his name now, people still bow their heads in appreciation and respect. When you win a championship in Philadelphia, you never buy another meal. You never buy another drink. You are the toast of the town. And whether I enjoy that or not in Sirianni's case doesn't matter. He's a hero now. Everyone who was on that field yesterday, all those guys, and Lurie, Jeff Lurie, the owner, and Howie Roseman, the GM who put it together, they're all heroes. You understand? They're all, you know what they're writing today? The most important person in Eagles history is Jeffrey Lurie, who a year ago, after they lost, went and bought a yacht. So,
but Angelo, look at this now. Since '94, 2 Super Bowl wins, 4 NFC championships, 11 division titles, 19 playoff berths. I mean, that's quite a record for an owner outside of Bob Kraft.
It is. But the really great era is the one we're in right now, when Lurie had the presence of mind to get rid of his evil friend, Joe Banner, and put Howie Roseman in charge. And even though there was a glitch there when Chip Kelly was around for a year or two, but Howie Roseman, you want the number one hero of this, it's Roseman. Right? Roseman's the guy that took a team that looked like they were dead. They lost 6 out of the last 7 games. And then after that, they lost Jason Kelsey, the heart of their offense, Fletcher Cox, the heart of their defense, and Hassan Reddick, their best pass rusher. And somehow in an off season, he took that and turned it into a champion. That's the best single season job any GM has ever done in this city, if anywhere. I don't know if anyone ever had a better year than that.
Do you make him the highest paid, as you referenced, in sports, not the NFL, in all of sports, the highest paid GM?
If Lurie could buy a yacht last year after the season, he can buy Howie Roseman this year, can't he? Yeah. Whatever it is. Howie Roseman is a freaking genius. He is. You know what I'm waiting for? The next big moment of the year when Roseman announces that they acquired Myles Garrett because he's the kind of guy that would do that.
It would not, hey, it would not shock me if I heard that.
No, he's the kid. Do you understand? That team was a carcass at the end of last year. They couldn't stop. They lost 32-8 against Tampa. Tampa, not the champs, Tampa. And a year later, they won. They destroyed the Chiefs.
They scored 95 points in 2 games, NFC title and the Super Bowl. They scored 95 points.
Yes.
I mean, and it's absolutely incredible. Do you give this credit for the organization that maybe 23, Angelo, really did show them and expose some of the issues that they had on how they went about their business, because they seemingly rectified all of that meltdown of a year ago, got experienced coordinators. They didn't deviate off a game plan. They pivoted early from a passing offense to a defense, to an offensive team that ran the ball, played defense. They really had a pivot in the year. And I think that bye week, don't you agree, was the pivot on what really happened last night?
Nobody at the bye, when they were 2-2, would have told you this was possible.
No way.
No one would have thought that. You went, they're a little better than they were at the end of last year, but they still look like they're floundering around. And then they came out of it and they had a series of winnable games. The schedule helped them out a little bit. And then they just got on a roll with Barkley. And here's what's fascinating about yesterday. The 2 guys that were most responsible for the great run they ran on toward the end of the season were Carter on defense and Barkley on offense. And neither of them were a major player, because the Chiefs decided at all costs to stop those 2 guys. We're going to do whatever we have to keep Carter out of the backfield and to keep Saquon on the ground before he gets 10 or 15.
Make Hurts beat us.
Right? Make Hurts beat you. And what they learned, what I kind of knew, I knew Hurts had it in him. But what they learned is this team could beat you a lot of ways. And the rest of the defensive line went nuts. You're right. Sweat had the best game of his career. Right?
Unreal.
Williams was all over the field.
Unreal.
What's his name? Brandon Graham came back and he was running around like a young guy. No, they had more than just what got them there. They had other options. And I don't want to leave Hurts out of this conversation, Dan, because he also now will be a hero in Philadelphia. There was a debate about him all through this.
I was part of it.
Right? People were going, is he really that good, or is he just a game manager, or what he is? He's whatever you need him to be, because he doesn't have that massive ego that most quarterbacks have. He doesn't worry about getting all the credit. But when you need a big play, he's going to put that ball on the hands of the receiver. And he did it repeatedly. It was just, he's a hell of a football player. He's my favorite quarterback they've ever had. And he will eventually, when all is said and done, he will be the best quarterback the Eagles ever had.
How about this one, Angelo? I made a comparison to him to Aikman and how Aikman won games. Troy won 3 Super Bowls. He's a Hall of Famer. He's got numerous championships, and he played within a system with a guy like AJ Irvin, had a great run game, Emmett, Saquon, and he did whatever they wanted him to do. But people don't sometimes like the optics, because when you talk about the greatest quarterbacks of all time, Aikman's name's not going to be brought up in that conversation. And so for me, when I go, oh, Josh Allen's this, Lamar's this, Burrow's this, here's the one thing Hurts can always come back at you with. Well, my resume says 2 NFC titles. I've never missed the playoffs as a starter. I've got a Super Bowl championship, and I'm an MVP. The rest of those guys are looking up at him right now, aren't they?
They are. And that's a phenomenal comparison, because Aikman also is not flamboyant.
Nothing.
He was kind of
no ego.
No ego. He understood that it was a team, not his stage alone. And that's the thing that's been great about Hurts the whole time. Dan, that he has never, ever, even in the fourth quarter, all these that jackass Sirianni is making a fool of himself, but the game is still, could you wait till the 2-minute warning at least? But anyway, and here's him, stone-faced. And that, to me, that's what I love. It's like, no, until this is over, he's doing no celebrate. He's Jalen Hurts. He's this, as he grows older, as he
It's like
gets
Kobe.
he's got, yes, exactly. It's like, no, he's a stone cold killer. That's what I like. I don't like a lot of the crap. I like a guy who gives you that stony look, like, I'm coming to get you, and I'm not going to be happy till you're dead.
I kind of
that's what
saw
he did.
Kobe last night a little bit with that on the sidelines,
Yep.
because I remember Brian at that press conference, guy goes, "Aren't you happy you're up 2-0?" He goes, "Why?
Yep.
Job's not done yet." I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of what that kind of reminds me of a little bit. How much of an impact, Angelo, do you think that Kellen Moore, it's being projected that now he's going to become the new head football coach of the, and if he takes Doug Musmeyer with him, which it looks like he may take him with him as the offensive coordinator in New Orleans, what kind of unbalance, or do you think that'll be an issue? Because last year when they went to a coordinator, it kind of wobbled a bit, obviously, as we saw, by picking the wrong coordinator. Or do you think Kevin Petula is the guy they elevate up? They want to stay within? How do you think that works?
It's obviously going to be tough. First of all, here goes Hurts again. Every year he's got a new coach. Every year he's got a new coach. There's no continuity with Hurts. So I'm hoping now that he's getting into his mid to late 20s that he'll just take on that responsibility. Whoever they bring in, he'll go, this is what I want to do. And they're going to have to do it. Because this is what we learned from the previous guy, right? Whose name eludes me. The stiff they had as offensive coordinator last year, I don't even remember his
Brian
name.
Johnson.
Brian, yeah, very nebulous name, right? That could be anybody.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, you don't know how good the guy is as a coordinator until he's doing it. Because that coordinator's calling the plays. He's calling the play. The last thing we need is that coordinator comes in and suddenly Sirianni's having his way with him again. Oh, that's a recipe for disaster. You don't
think
want
that Frank Reich would be a bad hire for that reason? Because those two guys would be working in the same room together?
It would be a good hire.
Okay.
The one
I'm
thing
with
we
you.
know about Frank Reich is he's a very good offensive coordinator and a very good play caller. And he's currently unemployed. I would have no problem with that. He's loved in the organization. That's what I would prefer, rather than bring another guy up who hasn't done the job and hope he can. Why don't you got a Super Bowl team. Bring a guy in that you know can do the job, and that would be a safer move, I would think.
How about this, Angelo? Next year, this offseason, could you see them doing this, which I think would be a flaw in their approach? You won this football season by running and being dominant on both lines of scrimmage, and you just were able to beat the shit out of people the entire year. I could see them bringing potentially a guy in or talking to a guy that would want to get the passing game going again and to having elevate the numbers. Because look, like we said, look at the money that they've spent. People go like this, I don't care about passing numbers. Well, that's not the point. The point is you got to care about the salaries that you're spending. You got 35 over here, you got 25 here, you got 15 in the tight end position. So I hear people go, I don't care about Hurts's numbers. That's not the point. It's the payroll that you got to care about. Could you see them again trying to go down that route? Or do you think you stay with what won you a Super Bowl?
When I wrote on my blog today, I had just one piece of advice for the fans who love the Eagles. And that is, just embrace what you feel right now. This feeling's going to last for a while. Because, man, you just don't know what's coming around the bend, especially in the NFL. And the fact is, Kellen Moore, more than any Eagle in the whole time Jeff Lurie's been the owner, gave the game over to the run, saw what Barkley was doing, and just pounded it. pounded it, pounded it. Even last night, and it didn't work very well. He kept trying the whole game. He never stopped trying to run.
Running was a factor last night when he went for 72 in the TD last night. I thought him loosening up was kind of the whole scenario too. Plus his efficiency, that pass down the middle of the field with Devontae was awesome. But I mean, that run game, whether it's him or Barkley, it's still a factor there because, again, I mean, they ran the ball exceptionally well last night with both guys. Okay, exactly. Barkley, hey, I got to tell you this too, Angelo. Barkley last night in his pass protection was a charts great.
It was great. You're right. Yes. The blocking was fantastic. That's the other reason they brought him there, because he is a great blocker as a running back. And he picked up the blitz repeatedly and gave Hurts extra time. No, Kellen Moore, he's going to be an amazing hero in Philadelphia because he's only going to have this 1 year. And he came in and he won a Super Bowl. And he did it in a way that even the ownership of the team doesn't endorse. They'd rather pass the ball. They're on the record with that. And he said, no, we got a great runner. We got a great offensive line. We're going to pound it. That's why, Dan, look, I'm not going to predict 5 wins next year.
No, you should.
Well, I will. Yeah. Not yet. I want to seem like a total cartoon character. I'll wait a couple of weeks for that. But what I'll tell you right now is this. It's going to be, that's a trap door, that next offensive coordinator, because the team wants to pass the ball. The ownership wants to pass the ball. They've got all the elements to have a great passing game. They had a great passing game in the Super Bowl. They're probably going to do that more. Kellen Moore didn't let him do it.
No.
Kellen Moore called his own game, and he called it brilliantly, and they won a Super Bowl. And, I wish him well. He's always going to be high on my list now of guys that came into this town and just won us all over in one season. He did a great job.
How about this? If you're Jerry Jones, you let Sean Payton go 1 year, and now you let this guy roll out of your building. Two future head coaches that you had in your own building because you think you know better. Angelo, 2 more here for you. Do you believe that this is going to be the beginning of something unlike 17, where it was a 1 year window? Or do you believe that this organization does things at times that gets in their own way, that stops them from having continued success year in and year out? And I mean the ultimate success by running through the tape.
Look, they're obviously going to be a playoff team for a while. They got so much talent. Howie had such a great draft. They have a great, great foundation for terrific defense. So they're going to have to re-sign Baum, but I assume Baum is going to come back after the year he had here. Why would he leave? But, Saquon Barkley, is he going to have another injury-free year next year? I mean, one of the surprises was he never got nicked. He never got hurt.
Over 430 touches this year he had.
Right. Look, that's why I'm trying to tell people, enjoy this. You don't know what's coming next. To me, it's probably a big step back because the schedule is way harder.
Number one.
Way harder. And everybody's looking out for you now. You won a Super Bowl. You got a target on your back. But they're going to be a playoff team. And I'm the last guy to predict that, since my 5-win prediction will stay with me for the remainder of whatever life I have left. But it was, Dan, it was so great. And Dan, can we spend 1 more minute just making fun of the losers? Because this is the thing, all right? Andy Reid, in my estimation, and all I have as my resume, is 14 years of watching him every day, interviewing him all the time. Andy Reid, in the history of professional sports, is the biggest fraud that ever lived. All right. Andy Reid won nothing here in 14 years. Doug Peterson won a championship in 5. Nick Sirianni won a championship in 4. Andy Reid won nothing in 14. All right. But he got this kid named Patrick Mahomes. And until yesterday, when Reid got Mahomes killed on the field, it was, Reid is And then you've got this whole image of him as a fun guy. He is a fungi the way fungus is fungi. All right. He is not a fun guy. There's nothing about him that's fun. He's a jackass. All right. And what happened yesterday was the greatest moment of poetic justice I have ever experienced as a sports fan. And with him went Mahomes. And I just want to say about Mahomes, you suddenly realize all of a sudden now he's just so glum and on. It's beautiful to see because he's always walked around with that strut. Oh, I'm better than everybody else. Not this year, you're not. Tough luck. And Travis Kelce, here's all I want to say. I've met Travis. I've talked to him. I think I'm a good friend with his brother, Jason. And all I'll say about Travis is, you got what you finally deserved. Yeah, you finally got. You're slow. You're old. All right. And when
and you got a bad haircut now because your chick made cut your hair.
It looks like a tube. That thing looks like roadkill on the top of his head. But when the fans, now it's funny. There's an argument here about. There were a ton of Eagle fans in the stadium. Yes.
Oh, I thought it was Lincoln Financial South.
Yes, it was. And then they showed, this was great. They showed Taylor Swift up on the screen and huge boos. Now, Eagle fans are claiming they were the ones booing, and MAGA fans, because the president was there, are claiming they were the ones booing. They probably both were. In fact, there's probably a lot of crossover. But the fact of the matter is, if you're going to be that public with your love for the Chiefs, when you grew up in our area and were previously an Eagles fan, you are going to get your ass booed. It's a shame to say, but you're going to get your ass booed.
Hey, I gotta tell you this here. This is what I think happened last night.
Right.
You're right. Exposed Reed, exposed Mahomes, but if Taylor Swift is looking around the building and she sees all these people booing, I got to think this is the end of Travis Kelce and that relationship because she's going to go like this. She's going to go like this. So the Eagles not only ended the three-peat, but they ended what could have been a relationship there because she's going to go like this. My fans hate me now. Well, you know why? Kelce, I'm out of this right here. So
you're very negative, Dan. I was thinking, I saw she looked very sad. And I was thinking, good, maybe she'll write some better songs than the one on her last album. Because she didn't win any awards with that thing. So maybe this is what she needs. She's better when she's sad.
She's sad, right? Better songs. Angelo, last question for you. When the seconds were ticking off and Philadelphia, correct me, please, if I'm wrong here, shit, it's kind of like the old Brooklyn Dodger kind of thing. Well, we'll wait till next year. When they tick that thing off and another championship, let me see in your time, 83 Sixers, the 80 Phillies, the Phillies again beating the Rays. 17 team that won the Super Bowl. Iverson didn't win, but he got that one game 2, I think, win. They ended up losing 4-1. I'm trying to think of the championships that you've seen when you were watching the seconds tick off for you. What'd you make of that game? What did you feel with your family and you?
I was on the air for 33 years at WIP. They won 2 championships. 08 and 17 were the only 2.
Wow.
132 seasons, 2 championships. So my first thought was, this is a whole new experience for me because I never got to really experience this just as a fan. And it was really, I was unbelievably nervous before the game. More nervous than I was when I had a show. Like it was on a personal level, it was a brand new experience for me. But it just made me appreciate so much more the fans of this city and the passion that they bring. It really did. That was the number one thing I took from it. And all I could think is the last seconds were ticking off for all the people and all the families that have handed down their love of the Eagles from one generation to another, 4 and 5 generations. And the joy they feel and how this is what you are a fan for. This, all the bad losses and the stupid coaching decisions and the fumbles and the interceptions and all the bad stuff. for this moment, this incredible feeling of winning and being the champion. And I don't think it's ever meant more to any city than it does to our city. And that's why it is going to be a wonderful couple of months around here as people just bask in the glow of this win.
How about that parade this Friday?
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
You think it'll top the 17 parade?
It will definitely top it because the mayor back then was Jim Kenney, and he claimed there was less than 1 million people there. Jim Kenney was a grump and a grouch and a really annoying guy. And the one we have now, Sherelle Parker, she's gung-ho. Can't spell Eagles great, but otherwise she's good. And let me just tell you, wait till you see the numbers she says are there, because there'll be 2 million. There were 2 million the last time, but the grumpy mayor didn't want to say it.
Wait, am I supposed to somehow dissect that and figure out political affiliations off of something?
I don't know. That guy was don't get me started on him, but I just hope somebody, it's going to be hard to top the last rally because Jason Kelce came out in the Mummers thing and gave the speech and all that stuff, but it doesn't matter. Whoever says whatever they say or whatever they do, you're the champs. You won it.
No question.
No better feeling. None.
I can't wait to read Angelo's blog the next couple months here, man, because this place is going to be lit, like he says. Angelo, congratulations, man. I mean, your folks, your people. I've been getting videos. Sileo, I'm downtown. Look at me. Hey, Hulk Hogan ain't got shit on me. I'm sitting here. I mean, King Kong. I mean, they're hanging out down there at the library. They're hanging out down in City Hall. They're going, come on. I'm going, this is crazy, man. That must be a scary place down there right now, man, because it is really awesome to see what a fan base like that, when they get their championship, especially with that team, right, Angelo?
Yes. This was we didn't have to sweat out the last couple of minutes. It was,
no way.
Man, it was the best. And that's why for the next few weeks, all the poles in Philadelphia will have grease on them to keep the people from climbing to the top and killing themselves.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Absolutely. Great stuff. Thank you so much,
Thank
Angelo.
you, Dan.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for giving me this forum all these weeks. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much, my dear friend. That is Angelo Cataldi. We so appreciate our good friend. Make sure you guys please hit that like button. Guys, give me a total on the likes too right now. Holy cow. Jesus. I mean, he is not an Andy Reid guy, that's for sure. Okay? He is not an Andy Reid guy. I think Andy Reid's, I think his resume speaks for itself. I really do. Okay? 552, you guys are killing it, man. Please hit that like button. Xander, did I miss any supers while Angelo, before I take a time out here, if I missed some supers here, Hurts outplayed Mahomes in 2 Super Bowls. The horrible field conditions in Arizona stopped the Eagles' D-line from duplicating last night's dominance. Otherwise, Hurts would have already 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Dude, Chiefs played on that field too in Arizona, okay? Not that it mattered, but Jake Elliott also had his best game of the year last night. He surely did. He was absolutely sensational last night. He was. The whole team was, man. The fact that we put backups in the fourth is pure domination. Putting backups in a Super Bowl is fucking nuts. Okay? It was really 40-6 before we let them drive and get them points. Dominant on all 3 phases. Hey, Blaze, that thing felt like 100-0 to me. It did. It felt like 100-0. They just dominated. I have been very critical of Laurie Sirianni and Hurts, but last night he erased the sickness in my stomach from 1981. You must be a longtime Birds fan talking about the Raiders upsetting you as a wild card team in the Super Bowl. I believe 13, or maybe not 15. I forget which it was, but it was Eagles and Raiders. Raiders were a wild card in that game, Steven. And, I've said it one more time here. By the way, Nick and Jalen spoke. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But, yeah, I mean, complete domination. Let me say this about Jalen Hurts one more time here. It doesn't matter any longer my feelings on style. It just doesn't. His resume's filling out now. Now you do everything. Former SEC Player of the Year, was beaten a national championship game, has 2 conference titles in the NFL, has a Super Bowl championship, and has been to the playoffs every year that he has started. How about this too? Now, because last year he was 2-3 in the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken, they won 4, right? Let's see, Packers, Rams, Washington Commanders. So Jalen Hurts is now 6-3 in the playoffs, as is Nick Sirianni. He's one of the very few quarterbacks that has an over 500 record in the postseason as a starting quarterback in the NFL. Lamar has a losing record. I believe Allen does. I believe Herbert does. I think Burrow's 500. I think Goff is 500. I think Stafford's over 500. Now, again, my feelings aside, it's irrelevant. His resume speaks for itself. I'm a resume guy. Who are you? What are you doing currently? Are you doing things in consecutive years now? Are you validating yourself? Lamar Jackson can't validate his resume yet. What if the MVPs? I get it. That helps. But you got to put a championship next to it, don't you? Jalen Hurts last night made my comments about him irrelevant. There's nothing else to say. Sills, you may not like my style of passing. Okay. You may not think that I'm a great pocket passer. Okay. I'm 6-3 in the playoffs, 2 conference titles in the Super Bowl. What do you make of that? It's a dumb argument. It's a dumb conversation on my end. That's reality. Remember theory? Guys were talking in theory last week. It's no longer theory. Reality happened last night. Validation happened. Credibility. Narratives changed. You know why? You can't move a scoreboard. Again, whatever I think of him. Jalen Hurts last night proved people like me and Nick Wright, a bunch of people, that resumes talk. See, again, no matter what my internal feelings are about the style of play, building teams around a guy, has no bearing. The Eagles have built a team. Now, is there going to be an interesting conversation? There's going to be an interesting conversation in the offseason here. You know why? You didn't construct this team this way. You know, I believe if I heard Xander say something, I kind of clicked on. I heard him say, I don't give a shit any longer about passing yards. That's not the bitch. The bitch is the money you spent because this is a cap league. It's not about the numbers. And when you're not getting your production out of your salaries, that's when you question what you're doing. Everything's got to be justified. It's like a budget. You got to budget your salary cap. And if you build the football team to look completely different than how you're executing it, that's the conversation you have to have. Are you going to continue to fuel and fund your wideouts when you're not winning with them? Or are you going to go back to what got you the win? Hey, that's 72 yards rushing, along with the 60 yards from Barkley, help set up play action. How in the world are you going to justify your – it's about the cap. You've built the team. Now, again, to me, can I tell you what the biggest question is going to be heading into the offseason? Somebody do me a favor. Kyle, if you're in here, if I'm not mistaken, I think that Barkley had 340 regular season touches this year. What did he have last night? 25? So he had like 365, and I'm going to assume with the other games that Saquon Barkley had over 400 touches this year. Do you really believe that Saquon Barkley is going to duplicate another year of 400 touches? Is that something you want to go down that route? Do you think he's going to go injury-free for 20-plus games next year? Or do you want to get him some help? What's more important right now? Can I tell you the second most important position on the football field is right now for me? It's running back. I can't have that guy get injured next year. He's the centerpiece of what you did for Super Bowl. You've got to keep that old line intact, and you got to keep him fresh. That's quite a 400 touches when he's never been over 300 touches in his career. O-line was a factor. I like that kid from Arizona State. Get him help. Absolutely. Shipley's not going to help him. Not for what you're looking for. You need somebody to go in. Look, I want to get 2,005 rushing yards next year. 1,600 yards from Barkley. Another 400 from Skidaboo. Guy like that. Get my $2,000. Have Shipley catching footballs in the perimeter in the passing game. You get the same stuff basically out of what you did a year ago. That's kind of how you can maneuver around it and protect your asset. I'm not looking for I'm looking to preserve that guy. I want to keep that guy preserved. I want him running at 95% like he did the entire year. So to me, like third, fourth, and fifth round, I'd love to get a back in there. I would love to get a running back in there. I want to get an edge rusher. Now, the key will be this too. So you're going to play in free agency? What are you going to do with Huff? How are you going to try to get out from under that? You got to get out from that contract. He's a bum. Now, let's do this. Do you give Howie and Vic and Bobby King, do you give those guys the benefit with another year? Huff is better. Look what they did with Nolan Smith. Look at what they did with N'Kobe. Look at what they've done with Jalen Hunt. Do you give those guys another year to try to make it work? Dude, what an absolute slap in the face. They won a Super Bowl without him, and he was a healthy scratch. I can't think the Eagles think highly of that. Biggest free agent acquisition this offseason was deactivated, and he was healthy. You know, you're going to get money back. Hey, let me ask you this. Do you want Slay back for another year? You want Slay back? That's $9 million. That's a decision to be thought of. Okay, Bradbury's out the door. You're going to be able to move on from that contract. So you're going to get $9 million there. Okay? You get rid of Bradbury. You're saving money there. The question will be what you do with Huff. Because right now, I mean, is Brandon Graham coming back? Or does Brandon Graham go into the sunset with 2 Super Bowl rings and 3 NFC championship rings? Pretty fucking impressive. You can make the argument he's the most accomplished defensive lineman in Eagle history. 2 rings, 3 NFC titles. Name me another guy in Super Bowl era that has that resume. Not even Fletcher. Jerome, Reggie, none of those guys do. Now, those guys are better ball players, but Brandon Graham's resume is littered with championship moments. Hit the like button, guys. I mean, a lot of decisions. You know, people are like this. I think we're set up for greatness on defense. Okay. It looks it. You're losing Sweat and Williams. You're losing both your defensive ends. You think you're set up there? Nolan Smith? And who? Jalen Hurts? You're probably not losing Bond, right? You're losing both your defensive linemen, Josh Sweat and Milton Williams. Maybe. December 10th. I don't know. I know that they're going to be pursued. Milton Williams, the Patriots, the Cardinals, and the Steelers, and the Dolphins love him. Josh Sweat, the reason he hired Rosenhaus is going to go in the open market and get him the best deal possible. You're not keeping Josh Sweat. Unless Howie comes to the table with $25 million or $20 million. And you're not with a guy with a knee injury history. Dates back to his high school before he went to Florida State. Okay? Would Sweat take less money? More years? I would. I would take more years, less money. Sure. Stay in Philly. Another shot at the ring. Why not? It's where Jason Kelce hasn't said anything. Why? They were more dominant this year without him. Well, but here, Kyrie, I think the reason that Jason Kelce's staying out of it, it's not his time now. Let those guys bask in the glory. It's their time. It's not his time. I kind of get that. I mean, anything that he would say, what is he going to say? They were better in the O-line this year than when he was there a year ago? Actually, to be candid, they were better in the O-line than they were in 22 this year. Jason Kelce and that O-line was a really good offensive line. But this is the best that they performed in the last 3 years. Cam Jurgens was an upgrade. That's no dismissing of Kelce's career. He's going to go to Canton. But I'll tell you what Cam Jurgens did. I told you Jurgens would probably be a Pro Bowler. I didn't think he'd be that good. And he was. Something that Jalen Hurts did in this ballgame. I'm going to take a time out here in a second. Something that Jalen Hurts did in this ballgame that I hadn't seen him do all year. Okay? I hadn't seen him do this. He was so ahead of the sticks in his routes this time than where he was in 57. It's incredible. He was reading defenses. He was reading defenses this time. Just absolutely tremendous. I'll say this to you about the Chiefs. This is where the Chiefs are now. They got to rebuild their O-line. They were destroyed last night. They need some new skilled players. Travis Kelce is toast. It's over. They need some more playmakers for Mahomes. Mahomes is not Brady. Brady makes Amendola and Edelman, great against everybody, not just situational matchups. Can I tell you something that kind of made me think about what I've said about the AFC versus the NFC? I think Detroit would have beat the fuck out of that team too. Okay? I think the Commanders would have given them a game. I think there's more physical football teams in the NFC. They may have better quarterback play over there, but I think the NFC is more physical. Okay? I think the NFC has more physical. Even the 49ers, when they get back to being healthy, I think they have, I think the NFC may have better physical rosters. Yeah, I mean, dude, I don't ever want to hear people comparing Mahomes to Brady. That thing's over. Brady beat him in a head-to-head matchup, beat him in a conference title game, beat him in a Super Bowl. And Tom Brady never destroyed like that in a Super Bowl. He was never destroyed like that. I mean, Montana had 14 touchdowns, no picks, 138 quarterback rating. He was never destroyed in a Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes looked terrible last night. That's the worst game I've ever seen him play. I could not believe what a great job of coaching that they did last night. All right. Hey, folks, do me a favor during this time, our great friends at Morgan & Morgan. I appreciate you guys so much coming aboard. We'll get to all your supers when we come back out of the timeout here. Please check out my friends at Morgan & Morgan. I was so glad last week we were able to get John Morgan on the program for you guys to see who he is and what his family has done by building this law firm up into being the largest injury law firm in America. They've collected over $20 billion and recovered over $20 billion for their clients. That's what Morgan & Morgan's track record is. That's what their resume says. I told you about a family in Pennsylvania that were offered $650K. They were awarded that. Morgan & Morgan and his team of 1,000 attorneys went in and got $26 million for that respected family. Another family in Florida, they were offered $350,000. No way. Morgan & Morgan and the team of attorneys went in and got that family $12 million. If you're ever injured, please do me a favor and check out my friends at Morgan & Morgan. The fee is free unless you win. Again, more information. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sil sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES. Eagles.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe now Jalen Hurts is 2-2 versus Patrick Mahomes. Not quite the rivalry the NFL thought. They thought it would be Lamar, Josh Allen. Again, so did the media. It's turned out to be Hurts. Hurts is the rival. He's the Manning Brady. Media doesn't want that. They have to accept it. It's not Allen and Lamar. You've got to beat them. No matter what you look at optics, whatever you think of Josh or Burrow or Herbert, it's irrelevant. I told you that. What I think, it's irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant. Hurts is the rival to Mahomes. He's the rival. You can say whatever you want. So can I. It's irrelevant. The rival is Jalen. Why? Jalen's beaten him twice in a row now. Hey, you know how you guys used to bring up that insignificant game last year? It's not insignificant anymore. 2 times in the last 2 games, Hurts has beaten him. Beat him in Arrowhead, and now beat him in New Orleans. It validates it. He got him earlier in his career. Hurts got the last 2. They're 2-2. That's a rivalry. Not 0-4. When people go like this, Josh Allen, man, Mahomes, and you can't be 0-4 in the postseason and call it a rivalry. That's like telling me that Navy's a rival to Notre Dame. Wait a minute, they've beaten them 36 and 37 times. That's not a fucking rivalry. Okay? Everyone wants it to be Allen and Lamar. You know what the reality is? Once again, Hurts is the rival. Because Hurts wins. The last 2 MVPs, theoretically, the last 3 MVPs in this league are looking up at Jalen Hurts now. That's the reality. Allen and Lamar have won the last 3 MVP awards, right? Tremendous accomplishments. What would you rather have? Regular season MVP or Super Bowl MVP? I'm sorry, but I'd rather have the Super Bowl MVP. And I think so would Lamar and Allen. You're not going to be remembered for MVP awards. You're going to be remembered for Super Bowl MVP. Dude, you remember Nick Foles. You know how many Super Bowl MVPs I can name? They go back in history. Something about Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith becomes just one of 5 men to have won the Heisman Trophy, a national championship, and a Super Bowl. One of 5 men to have ever done that. I mean, that's quite a group. Most of the time, the Heisman Trophy people, they don't pan out in the NFL. In the history of that award since 1936, very few people have gone on to greatness in the NFL. Hit the like button. Guys, give me a total on where we are on the likes right now. Xander's going to join us in a couple minutes. I believe Gary Cobb, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Gary's probably in transit coming back from New Orleans, working with Fox 29. So we may have to get him on tomorrow here. Saquon Barkley goes for 28-32 for the year. This guy had 2,800 yards this season. What a fantastic year he has had. 612, guys, let's see if we can get to 800 by the end of the program. 800 likes. Guys deserve it. You should spread the word of what you guys have done. Hey, I told you on Monday, someone was going to be right or wrong. Desmond Howard never won a national title at Michigan. He never won a title at Michigan. I don't think he did. I know he won the MVP award with the Packers the year they beat New England in the Super Bowl. He may have split that year, but I know they won the Super Bowl. So he may, I don't know if he was on that national championship Michigan team because they may have split it. Jojo says, Hurts doesn't play for stats. You're right. Listen, you can't deny the truth, no matter how bad you want to say it. I can't do that. I'm not going to dismiss something just to make myself sound better. I can't do that. That means I'm not being genuine. And I'm just doing a talk show. I can't live like that. When somebody does something exceptional and has great achievements, you put your personal decisions aside or your opinions aside, and you have to talk about the truth. First quarterback coach under Nick Saban to win a Super Bowl. Funny. Nick Saban's won to quit on him. How do you give Nick Saban credit for quitting on him? And Nick wants to go back and now change the history. He quit on him. Whatever you want to say, quit on him. I would never, ever say that my best years were at Alabama. He's a Sooner. The majority of hits that Barkley took was about DBS and linebackers, defensive backs, who are undersized and a lot of touches, yes, but not hit by linemen who were 300 pounds. Hey, Mikey, 400 plus touches is 400 plus touches for a running back. Okay? That's a lot of pounding. And you're not adding up the 7 years that he took a beating in New York and at Penn State. He had 900 carries at Penn State or 600 carries at Penn State. All that adds up, dude. That's why running backs don't have a long life in this league. And look, let's leave that alone until we see it. Because right now, he's coming off an iconic year. One of the greatest years of all time. What does that mean for his resume, Barkley's resume? One of the greatest years in NFL history. On a very disappointing career in New York. Not on his side. Saquon Barkley has had a very disappointing career because of what New York couldn't do for him. Okay? It's just disappointing that they didn't build a better team around him and utilize his skill, because he'd be further along in the conversation and not 87th in rushing. It's a shame because he has a Hall of Fame ability. What about drafting Jalen Hunt, brother Mike? Do you want to see Mike Hunt? Thank you. Hey, real, thank you. Jalen Hunt was awesome. He was the real deal. Threw us in the gutter. Thank you, brother. What a tool. Congratulations to you. Yeah, Devontae Smith, one of Xander's Alabama guys, becomes just the 5th player in NFL history to win the Heisman Trophy, a national title, in a Super Bowl. Only one of 5. And that's obviously since 1967. It's pretty remarkable. Sirianni and Roseman. Who do you address first in contracts? We'll do this with Xander here in a sec. Sirianni and Howie. Probably do the GM first, but Jeffrey Lurie should be awful proud now. All right. I got to give it to my guy, man. Last night, we did the post-game show. I wake up in the morning, and there's Xander still on 4.5 hours later. I think he actually almost did a Sileo-thon, because I did that about 2 years ago when I did like 6 hours. I thought Xander was going way into the night. I'm getting my fucking DMs getting pinged. Sileo, suck my dick. Fuck you. Everyone's sitting there down there. Hey, you said it couldn't be. And I'm going like, look at these guys. And there's Xander over there going, holy shit, we won. I thought it was really a great moment. All you guys, please hit the like button. Give me a total on the likes. Let's bring our boy in who did a marathon night last night. And he absolutely killed it on all the shows. John had some issues. I'm glad he was able to jump aboard with us last night and do some things with us. We'll get more as the week goes on, especially Kellen Moore news coming down the pike. I think by the middle of the week, we should know a little bit more there. Without further ado, my boy, Xander Kraus joins us now.
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, bro. I got on the Super Bowl hat already. It's still starting to set in, man. It's starting to really set in that this team is Super Bowl champions. Jalen Hurts is a Super Bowl MVP, Big Sills. It feels good, man. I'm proud of this team, and I'm really excited for this city, man. They deserve it. They're all jacked up, man. I was out at the store today. The line, Sills, was, I mean, this city, man, they're so passionate. I mean, I never seen lines like on a Monday morning, and they're lined up around the store. So amazing stuff.
I wonder how many people actually showed up to work today. Okay.
I read that a lot of folks took off work today.
Let me say this to you. That's one of the most iconic performances I've ever seen a defense put up. I mean, last night, what they did to the Chiefs. And I know, look, the quarterbacks are always going to get the love, but dude, Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, they rushed them with 4 guys. And I thought they didn't have any blitzes. Someone said they have 1. And I was like, I thought they didn't have any. They dominated them last night with 4 dudes. They controlled the line of scrimmage. That thing was over, Xander, at halftime. They had 23 yards in total offense at halftime.
Dude, I'm telling you that it was over at halftime. You know how I know? Because 1, it was 24-0. And 2, we had a 15,000 view halftime show because everybody was checking in like, is everybody feeling the same way about this, that the Chiefs have no freaking shot at coming back in the second half? It was crazy, man. I really couldn't believe it at halftime. I'm like, are we really beating the Chiefs right now, 24-0 at half in the Super Bowl? But no, you're right. They dismantled them completely. The defense was incredible. I thought Jalen made every play he needed to make, especially early in the game. I know he had a couple throws that were missed, but especially early in that game, those first couple of drives, he had a couple beautiful throws, man. Jahan Dotson, obviously the first one. He had that big throw to Devontae Smith, which was
he played so well. I don't even remember the misses.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I know he did, man. He really did. And he deserves this. I'm really, I put it out there. And as a fan of the team, I'm a fan of people. I like people. I'm a people guy, and I'm most excited for him, man. Look, I know you are obviously a controversial figure when it comes to Jalen Hurts because of all of your takes on him, but it's got to feel good to be him, man, and do this and slay this dragon and rise up again. And it's not just you. I'm talking about all the way back to college and, not getting it done there and then losing in 22 and being doubted and all of those things. But to do it in the way that he did it, and I don't mean disrespect to Saquon Barkley with this comment, but I'm happy it wasn't Saquon Barkley yesterday. Because Saquon Barkley got so much love all year long from everybody all over the NFL world, all over Philadelphia. Everybody's buying Saquon jerseys. Everybody's doing this for Saquon Barkley. And if he did that yesterday and got Super Bowl MVP, you already know what people would be saying about Jalen Hurts. The fact that he did it in the air in a game that they took away Saquon Barkley was, I think, all the icing on the cake for me. And I'm proud of him. I'm pumped for him.
Okay. And I get that you see that side of the ball, but again, for a guy like me, I was just
there's no doubt that
I couldn't believe what I was watching on defense.
Yeah, there's no doubt that
I just couldn't. And by the way, I'm not like John. I'm not gonna downplay what Jalen did. I'm just gonna say that Jalen played really well. He was really great last night, but that defense was iconic last night. I mean, I've never seen a Super Bowl performance like that. In that game, they just dismantled Andy Reid. Dude, when I was watching Andy Reid and like Angelo was saying, those guys had no answers for anything last night on both sides of the football. Look, the quarterback's going to get it all. I thought he did everything exceptionally well last night. No question about it. He did great. Okay. Hey, how about we put Gary Cobb at the top of the hour?
Is he going to be ready?
Yeah. How about we do 5 p.m.? Let me ask him, 5 p.m. work? Let me see, because he just got off the airplane. Let's see if we can do that, Xander.
Well, if he just got off the airplane, do you expect him to be out of the Philadelphia airport?
I mean, he's got off the airplane like 40 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
I'm
just saying, you've been to Philly airport. You don't navigate,
especially with that airport. Hey, me, I circled around that bitch for about 45 minutes.
Yeah, Silio's waiting at the train tracks, and he's like, "Where? I don't see your car." I'm like, "Yeah, you're at the train tracks, meathead."
Hey, let me ask you this, man. See, I just made this comment. No matter what I say, no matter what I feel, the new rivalry, as much as the NFL wanted it to be Lamar and Josh and Herbert, it's Hurts with Mahomes.
Yeah,
that's the rival. They're 2-2. They're 1-1 in Super Bowls. It's not Allen. It's not Lamar.
Yeah, well, in order for it to be a rivalry, you got to beat them.
You got to win.
You got to win. Josh Allen's what? 0 for 4 in the playoffs first season?
Yeah.
Yep. Jalen Hurts, you mentioned, is 2-2, 1-1 in the regular season, now 1-1 in Super Bowl. So, yeah, look, Jalen, at the very least, solidified himself as the best quarterback in the NFC last night by far. It's not even close. Like you could talk about him, not talking about a talent perspective, Sills. Leave that aside for a second. I'm talking about body of work. Jalen Hurts is number 2 in the NFL.
Now.
No, but I mean, I'm talking about ranking.
I got it.
I got him above Burrow, above Allen, and above, not because I'm saying he can throw the ball. I'm saying this guy's accomplished so much more than some of these dudes where it's like, all right, guys, everybody's calling you a lead and all these great. When are you going to win? When are you going to outplay Mahomes in the biggest stage?
Figure out the Rubik's Cube.
When are you going to, again, and it would, this is why I'm so happy that we beat Mahomes. In hindsight, remember I said I don't want Mahomes. I'm so happy we beat Mahomes and Andy because you look back and you're like, Well, why don't the AFC guys win? All right, maybe the AFC is harder quarterbacks. Well, they all get knocked out by Mahomes. Jalen knocked Mahomes out. So Jalen took his haymaker to the guy that's been knocking all you out every single year. Everything was poetic justice in this Super Bowl when you think about it. You know, Andy Reid. By the way, I can't listen to Angelo talk about Andy Reid. I really can't. I love him, but I can't listen to him.
I agree with that too.
Dude, he acts like Andy Reid's. I mean, he called him the biggest fraud in sports history.
No.
I'm like, Angelo, that's a crazy take. But I get it. I get what he's doing. But I mean, come on. I like Andy Reid. You know, Andy Reid was outcoached last night.
Completely.
He was. Yep. He was outcoached by Fangio. He was outcoached by Sirianni and the whole staff.
Kellen outcoached Spags.
Yo, Kellen. Let's go, Kellen. You're not leaving a team that's destined to return to the Super Bowl to go and coach Derek.
You hear what he's doing? Something he wouldn't do. Xander Krause would never put $8 million in a trash can a year and light it on fire for 3 years.
There's different circumstances. I hate counting people's money, and that's not my point here. My point is that I believe Kellen Moore's resume means he's going to have a pick at a job this year or next year. Okay. Look, just like Ben Johnson. Remember Ben Johnson wanted $15 million last year and people thought he was stupid? Look what happened. If I'm Kellen Moore, I'm looking at this Saints job. I'm like, cheap owner, salary cap hell, shitty facilities, no quarterback, not a lot of draft picks. Or I can go back there and maybe return to a Super Bowl with a team I just won a Super Bowl with in our first year together.
In a style that is not conducive to what he really truly wants to do by throwing the ball.
But it got him a head coaching job in a Super Bowl.
Correct. It got him a head coaching job. So you're going to duplicate that next year with a guy who's done it like this, and you believe that the Eagles are in the offseason. They're going back to trying to improve the the pass game, correct?
I mean, I think they'll try and build on it. Yeah. Look at how explosive they've been with their pass game.
Look at how they spend the money. I heard you say a comment. Xander, my comments have always been not about the numbers, man. It's about the numbers you spend on the salary cap. This is a salary cap league.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The most important thing when you're building a team is you got to know if it's financially feasible to build your team with that player and if you're getting the economic return on investment. Like Bryce Huff has to be figured out on how to get him off that roster. Figure that out. You can't have a $51 million guy who was a healthy inactive and you killed the team without him and you're not using him. You got to figure that fucking thing out. Now, I will say this. Because of the patience we saw with Nolan, with Nakobe, do you bring them back to try to see if Vic and Bobby King can make that thing work? Or do you try to do this offseason, try to make that work? Because Howie's got a small reputation on the line with this.
Vic Fangio took a player at edge. Vic Fangio took a developmental player who used to play safety like 3 years ago out of where? Texas Christian or whatever, or Houston Baptist or whatever it's called. He took that guy and he got 5 pressures in a Super Bowl yesterday as a rookie developmental player. You're telling me that it's a coaching thing with Bryce Huff? No, man. No, man. Don't bring him back. Don't bring him back. You're going to eat money, whatever you got to do to get rid of him. If you got to pay somebody a couple million to get him the hell out of here, I don't know. Maybe they'll just Bradbury him like they did with Bradbury this year. You bury him with a fake injury. You don't let him a part of the team. Look, I thought they scratched him yesterday for a specific reason. I really did. I didn't think they wanted him around the team in a moment like that. That's what I believe. I mean, and I keep going back to that moment after the NFC Championship game.
He's got a shitty attitude.
He ran off the field. Did you see that video of him running? Yeah. And I'm like, that's a dude that's not, might be the one dude in the locker room that's not bought in on this team. And I don't know, man. I don't know what they're going to do with him, but this team is set up, man. Jalen Hunt even playing well. Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter. How about Jordan Davis? An appearance in the Super Bowl. I give him credit for that.
And NFC title game.
Yes. So Jordan Davis comes alive. A couple of our great people in the chat who said that to me, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Jordan Davis is going to make a big impact in this game. But look, he had a good game. So the amount of young faces, young players on this D, man. Look, Sills, if you look at it, I know we're going to make something of the offseason signings, but your core is intact. The only person I would say you must lockup because you don't have it intact for your core is Zach Bond.
Let's do this.
Every other core player, in my opinion, is locked up.
Let's do this. These are some of the guys. And I mentioned it before we get to the super chats. Gary's going to join us at the top of the hour here. Xander, Zach Bond is going to be pursued by Denver and Washington if he gets out in the open market. Are you giving him 3 years, $61 million?
I probably would give him that's heavy. Now, here's a good thing with that. Howie's so good at manipulating contracts like that, especially that size. I mean, look at Lane Johnson with his cap hits and he's making around $20 million a year, $22 million a year. So
now how you make this work? If you give me $40 million, you give me $26 million of it up front here. I'll take less on this. I'll take less. Players want money in the bank, dude. They don't want promissory notes.
No, I know what you mean. Yep, I know what you mean. I think Saquon's going to get a rework contract this summer. He only has 1 year left of guaranteed money.
Him? Can they redo Hurts's?
I think they're definitely going to redo Hurts's. Not in a bad way. Probably in a way to get cap relief, like in a way that will help the team and probably get Jalen more guaranteed money into the future. That's what Howie does. You know, he's going to, and I say Saquon, I said that this morning to Johnny. He's like, Howie still knows about running backs. I'm like, I don't know. I also think Howie cares about player perception. That's one of the reasons that players have wanted to start to come to Philadelphia, because they say, if I play good in that city, Howie Roseman pays you big and he pays you up front. Look at A.J. Brown. 2 years of a 4-year deal, and he got a whole new upgrade, a whole new
Look what he did with Devontae. He combined the fifth year option and
into an extension, so Devontae could get a massive chunk of cash up front.
Let me tell you about a guy that I think is going to be essential in bringing back. Oren Burks. I'm going to tell you why I want him back. I don't know what Dean's going to do with the first 4 games of the year. He's not going to be overly expensive either. And dude, he had no drop off. There was no drop off in any way. They dominated every team. Do you want to hear a stat? The only time that they were behind in the playoffs was when the Rams had them. They were up 7-6 in the first quarter. That was the last time that they were behind in the playoffs. Was first quarter 7-6. I mean, they were fucking insane. So to me, you could have this: Oren Burks, Zach Bond. You could have Nakobe Dean and Jeremiah Trotter as your linebacking room.
I think
Trotter's all young, except for Bond.
I think Bond's going to get done unless somebody comes in with. So I don't know though. Don't you feel like Zach Bond? I don't know. I feel like he might be good taking $16 million versus at $19 million and somewhere else, and say I want to go back to Philly.
I do.
I don't know. I get.
No, you're 27. You've never had big money. You're 27 and you've never had a big deal.
I know. So you're costing yourself millions, but I don't know. I got to feel like at that rate, I mean, you feel pretty good with making that and having a chance to go back and win a couple more Super Bowl. Let's be real here. Nobody's going to talk about Zach Bond long into the future if he goes to the Saints or somebody and doesn't do shit.
Hey, people took pay cuts in New England to stay up there forever. Okay? I mean, how about this one? Mekhi Becton's going to have the Texans and the Chiefs after him.
I could see the Chiefs.
Offseason here. Is that a priority?
I could see the Chiefs because they got that problems over there at their left guard, and they got that brutal backup, Mike Caliendo, who got tortured last night, and Joe Thuney. Jalen Hunt was torturing Joe Thuney in the Super Bowl.
They killed him.
So that would be interesting. I could see that, but I'm not as worried about Becton at all, honestly.
Hey, I'll tell you what, because we're coming up, because I got some more questions here for you. Do you think you can pop on, or do you have work to do today?
What time? You talking about after Cobb?
Like after Cobb. I'll keep
probably. I could probably come on. I have to figure out. The problem is I'm producing, and I want to get your Angelo clip up and stuff.
Okay.
So I'll let you know.
You want to go to the Supers now then?
Yeah, we can go to the Supers.
Let's go to the Supers now.
Because I want to. I do. Look, we're gonna have all summer, all freaking off season to talk about all this crap. I do.
By the way, you guys, the crowd has been sensational today. I mean, do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like button. And I'd like to know where we are in the totals. I think we're up over 600 now.
With 659 likes. 659 likes. Dirty D checks in and he says, Bradbury has been second team All-Pro and now a Super Bowl ring and another appearance. Howie should be able to sell that, right? LMAO. Well, he didn't play this year. I don't think.
No, Bradbury is spare parts.
Yeah, Bradbury. I agree.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Spare parts right now.
Trey Brown checks in. Salute to you. All we did, and salute to you. All we did, and by the way, the Reds, some delusional Cowboys fans today saying Dak is still better than Jaden and Jalen. What is wrong with them? Dak is not even close.
Again, that stuff is not relevant anymore. Whether you have see right there, that's what I used to tell Xander. That's an opinion and that's theory. Here's the resume: 2 NFC titles and a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP. Whatever you want to fucking say about that, and you think he might be a better talent, sure, okay. You want that? You can have that. Don't you want to take Jalen Hurts' resume?
Yeah.
You can't fucking argue it anymore.
Yeah.
It's a dead-end issue. Hey, this guy's got more talent. Well, he's not with the resume, though. Brady was never the talent of Aaron Rodgers. But whose resume is better? Jalen's in that conversation now. It's a dumb Xander, I'm the resume guy. You know that.
No, I know you are.
It's a resume comment.
Yeah, Jalen's resume is looking pretty damn good, bro.
He's 6.
So is Sirianni's.
Hey, so he's 6-3 now in the postseason.
Yeah, with a Super Bowl ring, 2 NFC titles, and 4 straight playoff appearances. That's pretty freaking good for first 4 years starting for a quarterback.
Like you said, and the coach. Yeah. That's why I told Angelo, hey man, you got to start fucking going like this. Hey man, you may not like the guy, whatever you think. Like I said it last night, Xander. I think the guy's more like a modern day coach on what they're looking for that deals with the analytics folks. But I mean, dude, he's 6-3 in the postseason. He's got a better win percentage in the postseason than Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, look at this too. I want to bring this up about Sirianni. I put this out earlier today. I retweeted it. Let me find it real quick. Sirianni is now also in rarefied air. All right, when it comes to so there's 3 head coaches who have a 700 career winning percentage. Now, this isn't a perfect stat because Sirianni's career is not said and done. So if he loses a bunch of games in the future, he's not going to have
a 700 win percentage.
There's only 3 coaches in history of a 700 win percentage and a Super Bowl ring: Vince Lombardi, John Madden, and Nick Sirianni. Bro, that's pretty impressive from Nick. So impressive stuff from Nick Sirianni, man. He's really got this team playing for him. So I don't care what he does. I don't care his antics. I mean, it's resume, right?
Yeah. I'm a resume guy, dude.
Yeah. Pretty crazy stat there, though, isn't it? Vince Lombardi and John Madden.
I do. Honestly, they named the fucking trophy that he held last night after one of the guys that he's got the same win percentage as. That's really insane, man. Really insane.
Wow. Yeah, let me get to the next super here. Dirty D checked in. What's up, Dirty D? That D-line looking like the 87 Canes. 0 blitzes, 6 sacks. How you doing?
Hey, Dirty D. It's the greatest defense. It's the greatest defense in Eagle history. No, wait, let me take this back. They may have more talent on game, but this is the most accomplished defense in Eagle history. You know why? They got the Super Bowl ring, and they shut out a team. And they beat the fuck out of people in last night's game, and they did not blitz. Dude, did you see those stats I threw at you about last night with Mahomes and how poor he was against cover 4 and what he did? I mean, Mahomes was 4-8, and he had 23 passing yards and an INT when they were throwing that at him last night. Here it is right here. Cover 4. 63.6% of the time against Mahomes when he dropped back. Mahomes was 4 for 8, 23 yards and a pick. I mean, do you understand in last night's game that the Eagles had more points than Kansas City at halftime had in yards?
Crazy. When John said that on the postgame show, I was like, what? But I should have realized 24-0. They only had 23 yards in the first half. I mean, insane what they did, man. Look, I've never seen Mahomes look like that in a game.
He was terrible. Vic
Fangio had a masterclass performance. Didn't have to blitz once, and he still had him look around like that. I mean, that was just that was a great cap for Vic Fangio to to get that.
Like the league was pulling for him too. Like the coaches in the league last night were pulling for him to get that Super Bowl ring, to add that to his collection of what he's meant to the league. I mean, I don't know, if one Super Bowl gets Vic Fangio conversation, because now there is a category, because Dick LeBeau got into the Hall of Fame because of him being a great coordinator. And also general managers, Bill Polian, he just got in. And so did Bobby Beathard get in. Those guys were GMs. So Roseman now, is Roseman a Hall of Fame general manager? I'm trying to think. Bill Polian, he built the Buffalo Bills, never won a Super Bowl there, and he won a Super Bowl with the Indianapolis Colts when he was there with Tony Dungy. He's got one. Howie now has two. He's got 3 NFC championship rings, and yet his resume is still, like you said, his resume is not anywhere near being completed. Howie Roseman reminds me of Theo Epstein a lot, who is a Major League Baseball general manager, that he's doing a lot of new wave things and how you do contracts.
Yep.
Theo Epstein built the Red Sox into a champion, and also the Cubs. And you're kind of seeing a little bit of that right now, what he's doing with that salary cap, because I don't know why more teams don't copy him.
Well, I think
don't know why.
And John points this out often. It is the owner too, who's willing to fluctuate, who's willing to spend cash up front like that. How he's able to work the contracts, because the owner is flexible with money. Not every owner, I'm sure, as you know, is flexible with money like that. They're like, whoa, I'm not giving that much money up front. That money's got to be pushed out. So that's the owner too. And
because it has, what it has? It has a fully guaranteed contract feel to it when you put the money up front, not back end it.
Right.
Okay.
And like you said, people like money in their bank account, bro.
Oh yeah, players want money, and I don't want promissory.
That's not just a player thing, brother. That's everybody. Everybody wants money in their account, bro.
Yeah,
you can relate.
And in the third year of your contract, I'll get you fucking $400,000. You're like, yeah, I would like that now.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Give it to me now here.
We still have a lot of haters in the chat today, which is funny. Hollywood Hogan says we're a fraud team. All right, Hollywood. All right, Hollywood.
That's such a theory. That's such that's
a bad take.
That's not coming to grips with it.
Gerard says, drove the Philly Sunday night from North Carolina, watched the game, and made it to work by 8 a.m. LOL, go Birds. That is incredible. Did you drive back after the game? What?
I'm surprised you got out of Philly alive.
And he says, and Xander with a Z. Come on. My prediction was 42-17, if you remember. I do not remember, but
Xander, I got so many people sending me, fuck you, Sileo.
Yeah, they're not happy.
Got a guy with his shirt off. And he's sending me I'm the hammer. Hey, man. That's a lot. I think that's a lot of fun, man.
Dirty D again. How many DCs copy Vic in this league? That alone should put him in the conversation, and this Super Bowl should put him over the top. Yeah, that's what John McMullen says. Everybody copies him, but last night was the best. Last night was the best thing on his resume. I mean,
is Jim Schwartz a Hall of Fame coach? Do you think Jim Schwartz is a Hall of Fame coach?
How many Super Bowl rings Jim Schwartz have?
1.
Just 1 with Philly?
He had #1 defense too. Last year with the Browns.
I'd have to look at who's in to be able to know.
I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not sure 1 gets you in.
I don't know if 1 gets you in, but I do think that there is a perception of Vic in the league that
I think it's harder to get coaches in.
Yeah, it is. I think there's a perception though in the league.
Vermeil waited 40 years to get in. You think an assistant coach is going to wait a little longer than Dick? I mean, Dick Vermeil waited 40 years to get in.
I don't know. We'll see. Vic's an interesting one. I don't think Vic's done. I think the golden age of Philadelphia Eagles football is just getting started. I really believe that.
So I believe the new coordinator is not going to play a factor here.
You ask Gary Cobb what he thinks. Gary, the golden age is here in Philadelphia, Mr. Gary Cobb. The golden age is here, baby. Yes, it is, Big Sills. That's what I will be calling it from here forward.
Well, that was a dominating performance last night.
It really was.
All right. Xander, great stuff, my friend. I appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
You got it. That is Xander Krause. Before I get Gary Cobb on here, got to tell you, I believe Gary's going to go down the line with me on this here. Maybe the Bears Super Bowl when they took apart the New England Patriots 46-10, and they held the Patriots to 7 rushing yards. But this was Mahomes and Reed. This was one of the greatest performances I've ever seen by a defense in a Super Bowl. Josh Sweat was the best player on the field last night. Let's bring in our friend Gary Cobb from Fox 29 and get his take on this. Gary, just your initial takeaways from that destruction last night of the of the Chiefs last night in New Orleans. Just right off the top, what's the thing that comes to your mind right now and what they did?
Defensive dominance. I thought they dominated the defense. You guys talking about the defensive line. Clearly, that was the thing that really just took over the game. Against Patrick Mahomes, they had him looking like a little kid that was playing high school football. He's standing back there in the pocket. He doesn't know where to go. And they were using what they were calling a crush rush, which is everybody's doing, basically a power rush. There's nobody using any moves to get outside, so they open a lane for him. They're pushing the offensive lineman, mush rush, whatever you want to call it, bull rush. A lot of guys call it bull rush, where you just taking your guy, getting up on him, and pushing him back into the quarterback's face. And you can see it was making Patrick, making him just panic. And he wasn't really looking downfield. He's looking for a place to scramble. There's no place to scramble. So I thought that they did that, and it really worked very well for them. And he never really got in this game. He did have some junk, scores at the end of the game, but that was a joke. They're in there trying to score. It's 40-6. Total humiliation. They were totally dominated, and I thought that the defense, with the fact that they took away where he wanted to go with the ball, and that crush rush that they were utilizing really got under his skin. And Patrick, on the biggest stage, he really just panicked. He was not playing like a seasoned quarterback, where he's looking for his first option, second option, third option. He really was just looking at the line, and it really was bothering him.
How about this, Gary? So cover 4 really confused him last night. They ran that 63.6% of the time in dropbacks, and he was 4-8, 23 passing yards in a pick. And they were saying how that Jalen was so far ahead of his landmarks on him reading the defenses on that side, and how Mahomes was confused. Here's another one here too, Gary, do you realize that last night the rush pressure, they had 52.4% pressure rate last night in pass rush with no blitzes. Blitzes, and they got home 6 times on top of the fact of the hits on the quarterback. It was a complete reverse from Super Bowl 57.
Yeah, you got to give Vic Fangio, because, I don't know how he came up with this, this theory that he could utilize this type of a rush against him so effectively, but they kept things very simple against him. They're using this crush rush, and it's like he didn't know where to go with the ball. And there were a number of times guys were wide open and he misses the guy. How you going like, I cannot believe he missed this guy who was wide open. So, and then you saw the panic with him in the pocket. He just could not take it. And so he would panic rather than just stay back there, take his time, see where he wants to go with the ball and see if anybody's open. He really started looking at the rush, and then he started running around. So they really got him into a panic. And to see a veteran quarterback do that in a big game like this it's amazing. But you got to give Vic Fangio and the Eagles defense the credit, because I thought they were the key to the game. They had the two. One where he got the interception where he runs back for a touchdown. The other one was the interception where he sets it up on like the 15-yard line, and the Eagles went in for the score. So the defense was the key. I thought they played dominant football, and I heard some guys. I was talking to some guys after the game. I thought that the only way they could have done something is they needed to run the ball more, but they didn't run the ball at
No.
all. At all, they didn't run the ball. And, how could a team like Kansas City, which always really is a team that's disciplined, that they don't get away from the run, but too much. They did not run the football at all. They really panicked. That's a panic move, and they never recovered. It was a dominating performance by the Eagles, and you got to give their offense, credit in that they tried to take away Saquon Barkley and did a good job taking away Saquon Barkley. Did a good job against him, but they were totally vulnerable to the passing plays, and the Eagles were able to take advantage of it. So it was a lopsided win.
Do you agree, Gary, that Spagnuolo's mentality was Barkley can beat us, Hurts can't? And that's kind of how that played out last night.
Yes.
And Hurts beat him last night. I mean, we can say whatever we want, and all the people in the pundits, I happen to have been one of them, but at the end of the day here, now we're talking resume. 2 NFC championships, made the playoffs 4 years in a row. He has a Super Bowl, now a Super Bowl MVP. Gary, I know the league wants the rivalry to be Mahomes and Allen or Mahomes and Lamar. Well, these two guys are 2-2 against one another, 1-1 in Super Bowls. The rivalry, the Manning-Brady rivalry, is now the Hurts and Mahomes rivalry. I mean, that win last night for Jalen really changed a bunch of narratives about him. Do you agree? I think people may have, but I mean, how you look at him now? I mean, his resume speaks for itself.
Yeah, I think they got to give him credit. The things that he does is he does what it takes to win, and which is a lot like Mahomes. One of the things that he has that other quarterbacks don't have, some quarterbacks do, some of them don't have, is he can tuck the ball under his arm and run like a running back. And look how it hurt Kansas City yesterday. The times he tucked that ball under his arm and took off, it cut. It was like a knife going through their heart. And you can see how they were panicked when he's taking off downfield. So he's able to do that. He can make the big throw. He's got that arm to take you deep. And then he can make the throw that needs accuracy. So he can do all what you need him to do. He doesn't do it every game. He does what it takes to win, which is a lot like Mahomes. He does what it takes to win. And that's what really Hurts did yesterday. He used his legs when he needed, because they weren't able to get their running game going really with Saquon. But those runs that Jalen Hurts had were killers. They really just cut into the heart of the Kansas City defense. They were on third downs. They led to first downs and touchdowns. And his ability to run is very important to the Eagles. And it's an ability that Mahomes has that's lethal. And yesterday that was lethal. His ability to run really hurt the Chiefs. And, he can make the throws. He can do everything he can. Now, you wouldn't say he's so great at one or the other. He's just good enough to win every week.
Absolutely. Gary, I brought this up about some of the decisions that are going to be made here. I mean, let me start here with this. How much of a wobble will this be in the offseason if you do lose Kellen Moore to the Saints as the new head coach? I mean, they're talking about Kevin Petula possibly being elevated to being the offensive coordinator. They may bring in Frank, as we mentioned last week. How much of a wobble do you think that'll be? Because you and I have talked. They didn't construct this team to be a run team. The money that is spent is on the perimeter and at the tight end spot. So they're going to try to do whatever they can to kind of up the passing game, even though they won a Super Bowl being a physical football team. What kind of obstacles do they have there looking for a new OC?
Well, it's going to take a unique person, because they got to come in. He's got to be able to have a lot of guys having confidence in him, maybe without knowing him real well. If they get somebody from inside the coaching staff right now, I think that probably would be a good move, as long as that's the right person. This is something that I think what has to happen. I think Jalen probably needs to exert his power that he has right now, in that making sure, hey, we want to keep this like this. we want to keep our running game like it is. We want to stay with the same calls, and we don't want to get into a bunch of changing it with regards to that. And that's what he can do, is try to make things stay the same as much as possible. Meaning, like, if you do have a new offensive coordinator come in, where you really keep Kellen Moore's system and stay with it. And I think that Jalen has the power to do that, but he's got to step in, I think, and say, hey, this is what we want to do going forward. And talk to the other guys and get feedback from them. But the players really need to have some say about what they do going forward, because they're the ones that are going to be operating the system. They're the ones that's going to be carrying it on. So I think they need to take input from those guys. Not that the players are in control, but they should have a say in what happens going forward.
I say this to you, that I know Zach Baun's going to be a priority, but Gary, this Oren Burks kid, I know they lost to Kobe Dean. He had no drop off in play the entire postseason. And now with Dean being injured, he's a unrestricted free agent. I don't want to go into the draft to find anybody. I have Bourne, Burks, Dean, and Trotter as my young linebacking core. I would feel pretty cool with that going into next year. Is that a kind of a priority now, because you got Dean injured? This kid Burks, man, he parachuted in. Bobby King handled him. They put him in a position. He was outstanding last night.
Well, I thought so. I don't know how they're going to do that. They haven't prioritized linebackers, even though without the linebacker play they have, they wouldn't be Super Bowl champs. So we'll see if they make a change on that. This is something that's going to be vital to this organization, is how are they going to run this going forward? Now, Zach Baun is, his agent. I was talking to him afterwards. He gave that smile and says, this is up to my agent, meaning he wants to go get some money. He knows he needs to get money now if he, in order to secure his future, because he's not a rookie. The guy's already played 4 or 5 years. I don't know if it's either 5 or 6.
I think 27, 28.
Yeah. So he wants to get a paycheck right now. And I don't know if would the Eagles be ready? I mean, how much could he command? $15 million a year?
Shit, I think 18 million. You're talking near 60.
Yeah. So, I think he could demand. I think there are teams in the league would be willing to have no problem paying him 15, 16, 17, 18 million a year. So if that's the case, I don't know that they're going to be able to keep him.
Do you think that, having spoken to his agent, do you think that they're gonna weigh homegrown, or staying in one place? Because from I understood, Denver and Washington would be able to put the money in, because Washington has $100 million in cap space that they can just go in and parachute in and give him someone's going to over offer him. That someone's going to offer him that. Will his agent put him? Do you think this might kind of, like, I know it's 30,000 feet stuff, but just kind of listening to him, do you believe that they'll go out there in the market and maybe test it a little bit?
I definitely think they are. I mean, the way he was talking to me, it sounded like, hey, he's going to let the agent, make the call on this. And come on, the agent is going to say,
oh, yeah,
we got to go get the money, baby.
10% on my, I get 10% off that. You're talking $60 million. Get this. What people don't get is $60 million contract. Agent gets $6 million of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's salivating, thinking about it. He's been thinking about it all season. And there's no way they're going to pay him that much. I don't think the Eagles will pay him that much. They do not pay linebackers, and to pay him the top rate of linebackers in the NFL, I don't see that happening. So it's going to be interesting. And you know what? This is going to come out right away, man, because they're going to start talking about this right away, because his name is hot. I mean, the guy went from a guy who wasn't even starting to Pro Bowl linebacker. Really, he really almost won Defensive Player of the Year.
All pro. I mean, let me ask you about two other. So last night, Josh Sweat, look, he changed agents. He's got Rosenhaus now. And you can make the argument he was the best player on the field last night. 2.5 sacks, 8 tackles last night, TFLs. I mean,
Yeah.
4 hits on the quarterback. He played his absolute best game. You're talking about, here's another guy, $18 million, $17 million. I mean, here's another guy that's going to be potentially out there. And from what we're hearing here, Josh Sweat, Patriots and Steelers would be in the conversation to try to bring him in. I mean, is he all but gone in your opinion?
I think so. The Eagles have let other guys go. I mean, just in their recent, they let him walk. When he's going to get the big bucks. They're saying, we're not going to pay that level of dollars. So they've been willing to let guys walk, which is what I think they're going to do with these guys defensively. They are quality players. I think that they feel they can get, quality in the draft. They think they can get some young players, maybe other places around the league. Some guys that come in and blossomed. I mean, in all fairness, they did it with Zach Bond. Come on, look, they brought him in, young player, a player who hadn't done anything, and they were able to get that type of production out of him. So I do think some of these guys are going to walk, and the Eagles are going to have to replace them with talent that's already on the team or talent they're going to bring in either through the draft and through free agency. But I don't think that they're going to just decide to just throw that kind of money around to the linebackers. They haven't done it the whole time that they've been running things like this.
Do you ever think they'd drop a tag on any of these guys like Milton Williams? Would they ever put a tag and use the tag? Because they're not a real proponent of using that franchise tag players.
They haven't done that. They haven't done that. I mean, unless they change things. Now, they got to figure, hey, they're sitting there with a Super Bowl title doing things the way they have done them. And, it's been in some ways surprised people by how they let certain guys walk. But on the defensive line, they have let guys walk. They've been able to develop other players. I mean, Josh Sweat is the guys they're talking about was a guy that was developed here. Josh Sweat didn't just show up and all of a sudden he's playing, at such a high level. They developed him, and I think they can develop other players. That's where they really kind of believe in their coaching, the coaching staff. I wouldn't be surprised if people start going after more of the Eagles coaching staff too, the assistant coaches, because they've done I mean, you look at the way they have developed young players. That's really stood out to me. I mean, just in this season, you look at all the young players, the way they develop guys who come in and were contributing yesterday. Guys that are rookies came out and were contributing yesterday. Guys that hadn't played all year, and all of a sudden they're out there making plays. I'm going like, who is that just sacked the quarterback? I'm like, man, I haven't even seen these guys all year, but that says something that the Eagles believe in the way they do things, which is they try to develop young talent. They figure that is the cheapest way to get players is to find young, talented players, but you got to do a great job of coaching them and developing them. And they really believe in their coaching staff. They got some quality guys do a good job teaching.
Final question for you here. Everyone is saying now in Philly that they're set up for the next couple of years. Well, I happen to think that there's a little kryptonite in this. Do you think running Saquon Barkley, the way that you ran him this year with over 420 touches this season, do you think this way of winning is sustainable when the majority of your winning came through the run game and you got a car now with tires on it that's got to be looking at least 40, 50,000 miles on them tires now, where you got a boatload, you've got injuries here, you got he'll be older next year as well. Do you think that this is truly sustainable? Because if you don't have Barkley back there, this is a completely different football team, defensively and offensively.
Well, I personally think that they need to lighten the load. They need to lighten the load on Barkley. And I think they got to throw the ball more. I mean, come on, look at the receivers they have. I mean, you look at the receivers they've got. They've got guys that they're paying. They're some of the best in the league. We saw it yesterday. These guys can get open, and they're going to lean on Jalen probably more so than they have him throwing the ball. And that's what I think. That's what I see going forward is that they're not going to be giving the ball to Saquon more than 20 times a game. I think they're going to lighten the load on him. because they want him getting stronger as the season goes along. So I don't see them leaning on him the way they did this year. This was a unique situation, but I think that they realize that they've got a lot of quality and talented people in their passing game, and they're going to have to lean on that more, and they're going to lean on Saquon Barkley less.
I want to sneak this last one in on you here. Do you feel different about this title than you did about the 17 title? I mean,
yes, it's sweeter. It's sweeter.
Tell me how. Tell me why it's sweeter.
Come on. Come on, Jalen, look at the shots. I mean, people said Jalen Hurts couldn't do it. He can't get it done. Jalen showed I can get it done because in the two games that mattered, the NFC Championship game, the Super Bowl, Jalen was the MVP in there. He was the one getting it done. I mean, Saquon didn't do a lot yesterday, but Jalen is the one that punched that ball in the end zone. So, it's so you got that situation, and then also defensively, you got all these young players out there that these guys aren't huge names somewhere. The best defense in football, it wasn't just huge name. Their coaching staff did a great job. So I think the Eagles got to feel like we did the most with what we had. And that's really the coaching. That's the key to running the organization is they did the most with the talent that they had. And if they do that again next year, they'll win again. But that might mean some new faces and some new names that you're going to hear. But they believe in developing young players. And really, ultimately, you got to do that because certain guys you're going to pay so much that you can't afford to pay everybody. You can't pay everybody big bucks. So you got to develop young players. And I think that they know that that's the key. And I think that's what they're going to try to do for next year, too.
I think somebody dropped some voodoo down there in New Orleans on that Kansas City team, man. They put some reverse juju or something.
Yeah, that was, they were horrible, man. I don't know what happened to those guys.
I've never seen Mahomes look that bad.
No, I've never seen him look that bad. I mean, the thing is, he's over there, and not only him, but it just seemed like the other guys on the bench, the offense.
Kelsey looked terrible.
Kelsey looked horrible, but they looked like they never been in this situation. All they were doing was just this power rush against them, and they panicked. They panicked, man. They couldn't throw the ball in the ocean. It's amazing.
I could not believe how much they got their heads kicked in last night. And on both sides of the football, man, they just got taken apart. Gary, right? First quarter, 120 yards on offense. You want to hear something crazy at the half? The Eagles had more points than the Kansas City Chiefs had in total yards with 23.
Not, when you think about that, is that amazing or what?
I've never heard that in an NFL game.
I mean, golly, here you got a goose egg up there in the Super Bowl, and you're supposed to be one of the two best teams in the league, and you can't even score. In fact, you haven't even hardly moved the ball for a first down. I mean, you are horrible, and you're going to do this in front of the nation. I know Andy Reid felt bad about that, man. That was ugly, man.
Hey, that was ugly, man. Gary, thank you so much for taking time, man, and getting a firsthand perspective. How was the game last night, man? I mean, after a while, you had to be sitting there in the press box going, "Hey, man, there's not much to talk about." After a while,
I mean, the people were going crazy, man. Couldn't about believe what they were seeing. That they were seeing Mahomes play this poorly. Come on, he looked like a rookie out there.
He did.
He was horrible. I mean, and what's that?
6 sacks.
I know 6 sacks, and he's running in a circle. You see the different times. He's like he's panicking, running in a circle, man. What are you doing? He had to feel bad about the way he played, man. He had to feel bad about that, and the fact that they didn't even try to run the ball some.
No. They did it, man. It was terrible last night.
But the ring is the ring, and the boys got the ring, and so everybody's happy this way, man. The guys are so, man. They were cutting up afterwards in the locker room, and
how was the locker room after?
Just total exuberance, man. Guys were just. I mean, you could have saw the guys were in there, chugging beer, man. these guys were having a ball in there.
Barkley looks like he looks like Barkley can down a few beers, man. He was in there gunning some beers. I'm very proud of him.
They were throwing back, man. They really just let it go. And this was a sweet one, man, because a lot of people questioned this team. And you see the way they started off at the beginning of the season. For them to turn around the way they did, they deserve all the credit, man. They did it. Yep, they proved us all wrong, whatever criticism. The guys got it done, man.
They surely did. Gary, you have a safe trip back, my friend. I so appreciate you doing this. Thank you. I appreciate it, brother.
All right. Hey, have a good one.
You got it. Great Gary Cobb live from New Orleans, giving us a perspective there. By the way, so last night we're watching the Super Bowl. My wife goes, look at that gaudy watch that Brady's wearing calling the game. And I'm going like, that's a brick. Xander will know what a brick is. That watch is $750,000 on Tom Brady's wrist. It's a house. Brady had a house on his wrist last night. I'm sitting there watching this thing, and I go, that's a brick. I know it's a brick. I go, that's a brick, man. And my wife goes, what do you mean? I go, that thing's between $350,000 and $700,000 that he had on his wrist. Okay? If you ever know what a brick is, that's what that is. Those are custom jobbies, man. Look at that gaudy watch he's wearing. Where did he buy that? At a pawn shop? Or where did he get that? At a flea market? I'm like, dog, it's right. Yale's right. It's littered in diamonds, and it's called a brick. Yeah. Holy cow. Hey, look how close we are right now to 800 likes. Guys, we're at 700 almost, 694 right now. I'm going to take a time out here. I want to thank our good friends at BetUS this football season. They have been absolutely incredible with our YouTube 150. Great stuff for all to have going along with us for this ride with our friends at BetUS. Make sure you do me a favor and you go along with the YouTube 150. Second and third, if you guys are going to make bets on any sporting event, your signing bonuses are up to $2K. If you're into crypto, that goes up to 200% as well to your signing bonuses. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business. 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. Live wagering on all major games. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sil sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Show, National Football Show. Do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like button. I'd love to see us get to 750 likes by the top of the program here. I know some people had a different opinion of Kendrick Lamar's halftime performance. I know this. Spotify, his Not Like Us, after he sang it, it shot up 430% when it came to plays on Spotify. I know some people don't like rap music. That's all right. I didn't mind it. At least it was different. And it wasn't a 1922 guy up there singing, and it wasn't some old dude, or having Mick Jagger get up there at 81 years old. I mean, hey, open your mind a little bit, man. That's what the NFL's trying to do. You're trying to get a younger audience watching. Do you want to be basketball and baseball? Do you know what the baseball age group is? You want to know, what would you guys, I like rap music. I don't mind rap music. I love it, actually. Do you know what the average age of a fan of Major League Baseball is? It's 54. Do you understand why the sport of baseball has very few young people watching it? It's because it's an old man's game. Yeah, it's like Rico. It's like 54, 57 years old. You don't have a young audience watching Major League Baseball. That's what the NFL wants to do. Remember something. Sometimes my aunt will go like this. I really didn't like that topic. I'm not really trying to appease a person that's over 60. I'm trying to go 1834. I'm trying to hang in there. Because that's 25-54 is where people make all their money in advertising. You got to hang up between 25 and 54. That's the demo. And that's what the NFL's demo is. You shoot for 18-34, and you're hoping to land on 25-54. I mean, everyone who's in advertising knows that's where you are trying to hang out. Okay? No. Rico goes like this. Right. Rico, the 50-year-old people own the business. They sell to the younger crowd, 1834. Okay? I thought the commercials were decent, but they clearly went to Hollywood. They used a lot of stars for the commercials. I thought Fox did a good job, man. I don't have a problem with Brady calling a game. I like listening to Tom Brady. I don't give a shit about his delivery. Dude, who cares about – it's like caring about now Hurts' passing numbers. Wouldn't you want to hear from the GOAT on what the GOAT sees in a game like that? Who better to tell you about playing in a Super Bowl than a guy who played in 10 of them? You really want to hear Tony Romo, who won 3 playoff games? You know Jalen Hurts has more playoff wins now than Tony Romo? And he played 17 years. Tony Romo played 17 years, and Hurts has more playoff wins than him. I think double. I mean, fuck. Why would I want to hear him talk? What's he talking to me about? Losing? Right? I mean, just because you're a Dallas Cowboy. Sorry, Mark. Dude, if you're a Dallas Cowboy right now, let me say this to you. So you let Sean Payton and you let now Kellen Moore walk out of your building. 2 guys who one went on to most likely have a Hall of Fame career in Sean Payton. Now you got Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore As I said last week, he has a get out of jail free card for the rest of his life in the NFL. I said this last week. When you have something like that on your resume, that you are a coordinator and you won a Super Bowl, you have a job for the rest of your life in this league. It's get out of jail free. If you're a bad head coach, okay, did you win a Super Bowl? Frank Reich has a get out of jail card forever. Why? He won a Super Bowl as a coordinator with the Eagles. He doesn't have to worry about that shit. He'll always have a gig. That's what Kellen now has. So when guy, and I get Xander's point, he's like, hey, maybe I pick a team and go next year. So let me ask you this about Ben Johnson taking the Bears job. Do you really look back on that now? Think about what Xander said to me. I'll do what Ben Johnson did a year ago. Do you remember the team that offered him the contract? Who was that team? It was the Commanders. Well, the Commanders made it to the NFC title game. He's now going to the Bears. When's the last time the Bears were good? When's the last time the Bears had a quarterback? You think he took a better job in Chicago than what Washington was? I don't. Ownership was going to change anyway. He didn't take a better job in Chicago. Dan Quinn got the Washington job. Josh Harris went in with new ownership. You really think Ben Johnson got a better job? Are you sure about passing on the Saints? Really? And just like Rico said, he got paid, though. So's Kellen now in New Orleans. He's going to make $10 to $11 million a year. He's going to make more than Nick. And you want him to stick around in Philly for $2 million a year, where you can make 11? And you want to pass $9 million up, $27 million over the next 3 years? That's fucking insane. I'm not doing that. And it's guaranteed. Remember, coaches' contracts are guaranteed. Players aren't. Like Frank is still making money off of David Tepper. It's crazy thinking. You're not guaranteed you're going to get a better job next year. I think Ben Johnson took a shittier job. It's more money. Okay. You're going to Chicago. Name me a quarterback in the last 20 years they developed in Chicago. Can you? I'll wait. Name me one guy in Chicago they developed. Who, Rex Grossman? Ben Johnson didn't get a better job. Washington turned out to be the better job, and he passed on that. And they offered him $13 million, and he said no. So he took the money and took the Chicago job. You never know what job's going to be the better job. You just don't know. And to sit there and go, well, I'll wait for a better job next year. It's fucking crazy thinking. You don't know what the better job is. You could be stuck with the Jets again. The Jets, the Bears. Name me a quarterback in New York or Chicago in the last 15 years that you thought was good. I can't. It's both places. Shit, name me a quarterback in Carolina. Same old places. Same old results. Shitty at the QB. Because you know why? The owner thinks they know what they're doing. Hell, you want to make a comment? Dallas is in that conversation too. You go from Tony Romo to Dak Prescott. The kings of overachieving. Hey, I'll say one more thing about the Cowboys here. Then we'll talk a little bit about what Nick and Jalen said this morning. So the Cowboys are the kings of mediocrity. Tony Romo and Dak Prescott. Overachievers. Those guys really had great careers. You know why? One was a 4th rounder. One was undrafted. If you don't think Tony Romo and Dak Prescott had great careers, you're out of your mind. For where they were drafted, to be one of the highest paid guy in the league, and the other guy was a high paid guy now too. Those guys had great careers. They weren't asked to do anything when they came in the league. Tony Romo was a free agent. They found him walking the streets. Dak was in the 4th round. Now, they had no expectations on him. They're overachievers. Well, they didn't win a lot. They weren't asked to. No one expected them to. Nobody expected them to make the league. How can you say they didn't overachieve? That's the highest paid guy in the league. That's not overachieving for a 4th rounder? Fucking nuts. You and I don't see the same thing here. All right. Conversation this morning was interesting between the media and with Nick Sirianni and with Jalen Hurts. Thought it was really good stuff. I really did. I thought it was really good stuff on what they said and how they were able to, again, win this football game, dominate this football game. I thought it was really just an out-and-out team effort on what they accomplished and how much they beat the shit out of the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm with Gary Cobb. I was absolutely stunned on how much they got taken apart. Okay? I was stunned on how much they got taken apart. So let me start with Nick. And by the way, all supers go to the top. Do me a favor, guys. Give me a total on where we are now with our likes. Thank you so much today, man. The super chats were awesome. The likes were sensational. I appreciate you guys coming here. And I told you what I was going to do on Monday. Justice, 709. Folks, I think we can get 41 more by the top of the program. Great job today. Excellent, excellent, excellent job today. All right. He was asked the question, Nick, about Vic. He said all year long, man, he was just sensational in preparation. 0 blitz, 6 sacks. I mean, they didn't blitz at all in the game. Fucking fantastic job by Vic and by, I'll tell you this too. I think Vic Fangio had a massive impact on Nick Sirianni this year. I think Nick Sirianni became a better coach this year because of his coordinators. That's right. I agree with you, Stefan. I think it's a no shit attitude in the building when you got those coordinators. Kellen Moore, man, I'll tell you two things that stuck out. 2 things that stuck out to me. Tell me if you guys agree. 2 things that stuck out to me with these 2 coordinators. They didn't give a shit what the personnel was. They only wanted results. Whatever that looked like. Bryce Huff, you're deactivated. I don't need you. And if you got a piss attitude, you and all the Devin Whites of the world and all the Bryce Huffs in the world, I don't give a shit what you make. You're not playing on my unit. Jalen Hunt became more of a force on your team than Bryce Huff did. I mean, we all, including Vic, thought he was a project. The greatest thing ever happened was BG getting hurt. You found Nolan Smith, and you found Jalen Hunt. It turned out to be a silver lining. Nobody's talking about wishing. That's not what I'm saying here. They benefited from, they took a bad situation with Brandon Graham and made it a positive by playing Smith and Jalen Hunt. That's never taking your eye off the ball. It's brilliant. That's coaching. Who would have ever said this on Super Bowl Monday? The Eagles coaching staff fucked up the Kansas City Chiefs coaching staff. Fucked them up. It was embarrassing. They put that team in a headlock. And they didn't let up until the game was over. Eagles dominated this game. You guys deserve it. I could use them with multiple more in the next couple of years. I'm a KC fan, but good game. Trevor, you got nothing to be ashamed of, dude. 5 Super Bowls, 3 rings. You're going to be back because of your great organization and because you got great people in that building. Kansas City ain't going anywhere. You know why? You got 15. You're not going anywhere. Don't let anybody talk shit to you. Call like Andy Reid's overrated. Spagnuolo's overrated. It's such a stupid comment. You're not going anywhere. You got some work to do. You got to fix that old line, my friend. Okay? You got to fix that old line in Kansas City. And you need some more skilled people, in my opinion. I liked what he said. I didn't know this, that he got a buzz cut because he didn't want to take time to get haircuts during the year. I was like, okay, I get it. And here again, I didn't realize this, but Nick Bolton said this from the Chiefs. And you saw it when you watched the game film. Hurts was just ahead of the checks. He was so well prepared. I think there's no doubt Philadelphia was way more prepared for this game and all the things that they would see and not see than what Kansas City was. I really think Kansas City went in there on reputation. And I thought it showed. Okay? I mean, I thought it showed. They had a relentless effort in that game. It was just a true relentless effort. Hey, you want to hear something I didn't realize? Is this right? Hey, do me a favor, guys. Tell me if this is right. Did the Eagles win 16 of their last 17 ball games? Can that be right? Did they win 16 of their last 17? Is that right? I mean, I was writing shit down. They won 16 of their last 17 ball games. Guys, hit the like button, please. Man. Hey, get this. Bryce Huff gets a Super Bowl ring for being deactivated. How you doing? I even think Devin White might get a Super Bowl ring. He was on the team at the beginning of the year. Then they cut him. I think after week 1, I think he gets a ring. Holy shit. That's crazy. All right. Sure. They won 16 of 17 ball games. That's fucking nuts. And he did say this, and I agree with this. I think that they learned so much from 2023 that they did not want to duplicate anything what happened at the end of the year last year. And I really do believe that 2023 may have been the greatest thing ever to happen to that team. And do we not agree? 2023 was probably one of the reasons they won the Super Bowl last night. Was because of that. I mean, shit. You not only ended a 3-peat, but I think you may have ended the relationship between Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. By the way, look what a chick will do to you. You see that dorky haircut he has? He was come walking in. Thought it was like Dirk Diggler, like from Boogie Nights. He had that outfit on, had that really wild haircut. I'm like, who is that? Is that Travis Kelce? Holy shit, man. Like Dirk Diggler. Hey, don't forget, folks, I want you to do me a favor. If you guys are in any issues in need of a lawyer here, please would like you to do me a favor and make sure you check out my friends at Morgan & Morgan. #1 injury law firm in America, my friend for over 20 years. Please make sure you check him out. With over $20 billion recovered for clients across the country, the thousands of attorneys that they have at Morgan & Morgan is one of the most important things. Their track record is second to none. A family in Pennsylvania, like I told you, were offered $650K. They ended up getting $26 million at the end when it came to their resolution. In Florida, there was a guy who got $350K. That family ended up getting $12 million. If you're ever injured, please check out my friends at Morgan & Morgan. The fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/Big Sills or pound law 529. That's FOR thepeople.com/Big Sills or pound law 529. Do me a favor, you tell them Big Sills sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Two more likes for 725 today. That would be outstanding. You guys were awesome on the Supers. I can't thank you enough here on this Super Bowl Monday. Just to give you an update, Jalen's at Disney. So he's at Disney World. MVP. I think he gets a Corvette for that. If I'm not mistaken, I think he gets a Corvette. I'm not sure. I think one of them brand new ones too, man. I think he gets a brand new Corvette for the Super Bowl MVP. Hey, kudos to him, man. What a journey. What a journey for him, man. His whole life is going to change. Because, look, you're still going to have people. And I just got text. Somebody goes, so Sills, what's your narrative going to be on him moving forward? Hey, the guy wins. What about his style? It's irrelevant. Well, he doesn't really throw. Well, it's irrelevant. He's a two-time NFC title winner and a Super Bowl winner. It's irrelevant. Okay? He's going to be gauged on his matchups against Mahomes. And he's 2-2. He's got a better record right now versus Mahomes than what Manning had early in that rivalry between Brady and Peyton Manning. I mean, I know the league and media people want it to be Josh, and they want it to be Lamar and Herbert and Burrow. Well, that's not. We are a show of reality and resumes. Who you are and what you've done matter. Well, Sills, because we can't bitch about process. You only bitch about results. Absolutely fabulous football Monday, a Super Bowl Monday. It's only going to get better. We appreciate all you guys. Please hit that like button on the way out the door. Congratulations to Eagle fans. Kansas City fans, you'll be back because you have 15. I appreciate it. Big Joe, Xander, thank you guys. 2 to 6 tomorrow, and we'll see you on the flip side.